point. And then, that's where he got into this. So, and that's also part of the reason, when they made that television program, part of the contract was he could write one of the scripts each season or whatnot. That's kind of, he was, used to having written for television, and, he wanted to take his hand at that again. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, for the longest time he's been around for a long time, but he was one of those authors you would only know if you're in the know in regards to science fiction and horror. Hey, Adam Christian is here.
Oh,
hey, what is going on?
Hey, man.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Sound good? Yes, Edgelord Robot 9800.
Yeah, and we have a level 99 cringe lord, so I'm not even original.
Teach Robots Love. Isn't that what you go by on your blog?
Yeah, that's my Twitter.
Oh, so wow.
Your newsletter's also called that, correct?
Yeah.
It's taken a long time to get to this point. What changed your mind?
I don't know if you talked about it with anybody here. I just didn't. Well, let's just say you convinced me. I didn't feel good about it after we got off the phone.
Yeah, well, I don't think you have anything to worry about. We're a pretty good bunch, right? We're not too controversial, right?
Hey, man.
Well,
so, we're just glad you made it.
Yeah.
I mean, people say terrible things about me that I don't know where they got it from. So it's maybe I shouldn't listen.
Yeah. Well, so you've been working on this new novel for quite a long time. And I'm sure it's going to show in the final result. I mean, you take as long as Tool takes to make an album, but
is this the Be My Cult Leader Baby or something like that?
So that's the title. That's the one I've been working with Clash, but there's another one I've been working on for a couple of years that's shaping up to be I don't know, Franzen level, murder weapon. It's pretty long, but it's more like a sci-fi.
Speaking of weapons, you really came on to some really fascinating ideas. You wrote "Girl Like a Bomb," and the different characters she meets throughout the story. I mean, there's a wide palette of different, personalities that she brushes up against, and her story arc from beginning to end is fascinating. It's like everything comes in a natural progression. She meets a creepy stalker. She meets the guy who's all who bows down to her, because he's a little bit whipped by, the musician guy. And then later she meets.
I was trying to remember. I was like,
the guitarist.
Sometimes. Yeah.
The guy who's always oh, you kill me, but then later she meets a guy who's all man, and then, well, I don't know. Is it a big spoiler to say what follows from that? I mean,
well, I guess
yes. Kind of the premise of the whole book.
She has a kid. I mean, is that spoiling things to say she has a kid? I mean,
to me, Girl Like a Bomb is not.
So you're not really worried about it, right? Spoiling. You're saying, I'm going to say this thing. Is that a spoiler? I mean, what are you doing?
I mean, it's not to me. It's not.
Is it okay to say that Darth Vader is Luke's father?
He is. Well, then.
I was gonna say, I don't think Girl Like a Bomb is a kind of book you can really spoil. I think it's really a book that's all about the prose and the character and the just experience of reading it, than it is about a point A to point B plot.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that it's not something where there's a huge twist that happens, right? It starts with the kind of the twist, right, and then it's exploring that weird premise throughout the book, So yeah, but you're still spoiling it, Jeremy.
That's what I do.
It's okay. We're not recording this, so no one's going to hear this.
Wait a minute, we are recording, aren't we? Oh God,
we are.
Stop with the pills.
Anyway, never. But that was probably your most dynamic story, even though there's you have different factions in your fan base. You know, like I'm over here saying, you know, Crooked God Machine was the weirdest thing I've ever read.
I was gonna say I've just started Crooked God Machine, but I really fucking love it, dude. I can't believe you wrote that book in 2013. What were you, like 12 back then? Like,
I was like 19 and 20.
it's
is when I wrote it.
the prose is just very solid. The characterization is beautiful. Like, it's just really interesting. It just grabbed me right away. And I'm very into it. I'm very into it. I'm vibing with it. We'll see where it goes, but I'm very excited.
That's good to hear. No, yeah, I have. I guess Jeremy said about the factions. I was worried that people would read Girl Like a Bomb and then be like, go read my other stuff and then like be properly horrified. But so far, it seems fine. Nobody said anything bad.
Yeah, you're not repeating
I mean,
yourself. That's good. You're not repeating yourself.
I mean, one thing I like about Girl Like a Bomb is it sounds like something that could almost be like an Oprah book club thing, but then you like read the you read the first few chapters, and I'm pretty sure like anyone in that crowd would be horrified by it.
You got to sneak them in with like the cover and just like, oh.
Yeah.
By the way, isn't that you on the cover? I can't.
No, I think it's just a stock photo. I didn't find it.
Okay, because you were on the cover of some of your books, like Ecstatic Inferno, which, by the way, there are two stories that always stuck with me out of that. One is the girl who's about to undergo a lobotomy, and she calls this scarecrow Harrison Ford, and it's like she considers him her best friend, right? Am I remembering right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there was another one where this girl thinks she's like damaged goods, no good for her boyfriend, and I think she's like changing into something canine or like wolf-like or something, and the boyfriend considers like hitting her over the head with a wrench or something. Am I remembering that right? That's even bigger. What was the deal there? I can't remember.
The deal with the wrench?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the whole idea was that it's basically a werewolf story. I don't think that's the whole idea is that she'd become this like monstrous thing, and he felt like he needed to put her down. But ultimately he was like, well, this is still my wife, and we always had a strange relationship anyways. Mm-hmm. Now she's a killer werewolf.
But yeah, that was an awesome collection. I do remember reading the original collection you had, which is out of print now, right?
Yeah, it's the same. It's like the same stories. So it was like 4 stories, and then all of those got into the new collection.
And it seems like you've had kind of a mentorship with John Skip, which I think has been great for you too, because you published through Fungastic several books, right?
I think just the one. But we wrote a book together. We ended up like deciding not to publish it, but yeah, like we've been friends the whole time.
How'd you guys come to that decision not to publish it after having written it?
Well, we sent it out to several people. I think it's a very divisive book. So I think in a way, no matter what you believe, something is going to make you angry. And so like the agents just like, they would ask for the partials, ask for the full, and then they just were like turning him down. And it's like, okay, let's just like, instead of like, we didn't really want to go with the like a smaller press, so we're like, okay, let's just put it aside.
Okay, yeah. So it had something to do with the content or the main themes were.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, because it was a book about. I don't know if he's gonna. I guess we have talked about it. It was a book that was like, in a way, about like a woman that gets like doxxed on the internet, sort of like a supernatural like Gamergate kind of thing. But it was supposed to like explore all of that and like the myriad. Because Skip was like he still is, but he was like a big feminist. Like he was really into like the rad fem thing, even though, a lot of them didn't want him. He's like, but you guys seem so cool. But they're like, no men. But so we got to explore like all the different like different shades of feminism and like how they sort of like interact and stuff. But I think no matter who you were, the agents just weren't having it.
Huh. Well, you don't think it'll ever see the light of day? You don't think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's, I don't know, it sounds like something that may have its place in the near future, but yeah, I can see that something like that not really fitting in right now.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because like Skip was always written about like social issues and other things, like, you know, from the punk perspective of like the outsiders. So for me, like it was very on brand for like the things he's written in the past, but it's like something about like this particular issue and like the climate, like because it felt very timely to us, so we thought we had to like publish it within like the last couple of years, but it didn't seem like anyone was having it.
What didn't you say? I remember back in the day when I interviewed you, you said that you wrote Crooked God Machine after running away briefly or something, right? And you had some serious adventures going on, right? That informed that book?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. This is forever ago. Yeah, I ended up. I'm not in contact with like that side of my family anymore. I think.
I didn't mean to drudge anything up.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to like say it. Yeah, and then I was like living in Austin, like writing. If you ever remember eHow, I wrote like these eHow articles for like $15. So if you ever like wondered how to like, I don't know, like remodel your bathroom or like how to do taxes, I had no idea, but I wrote them.
Step one:
back when-
Google for a tax preparer.
Back when Google was sort of favoring that at the top of the search engine, and I finally was like, wait, this isn't credible.
You faked it till you made it, or almost.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. Yeah, and then I was kind of writing that while I was moving like in between houses, and I was like homeless for a bit. But like I had a job, so I was like sleeping in the office because I was a QA tester. So we were working like 8-hour days anyways. Nobody noticed. I was like basically living there.
So there was probably a lot of angst that informed Crooked God Machine. A lot of the weird symbolism in it, you know, was probably attributed to that, right?
Yeah, I would say when I look back, because it's like when you're writing something, you don't always feel like it's connected to you, but it can't not be. So yeah, looking back, I'm like, okay, this was like very obviously like a portrait of someone that was like going through like separating things. And at the time, like I was very angry, like Christianity. So that sort of became like the thing I would explore in a way. It's like I don't agree with like everything I wrote down in the book, but I think it's still like the story of someone who's sort of like breaking free from like authoritarianism, and that I feel like that's like always timely, even if like the particulars of it I don't necessarily agree with anymore.
Yeah, because there is a strong overcurrent of religious, like a religious theocracy or something, place in the government there, and there are these people who wear animal masks who like assault people in the streets. You know, that was almost like predicting. That was almost like predicting, like 10 years later, what the streets would look like. I don't know.
I think it's more like the streets have always looked like that in one form or another. But yeah.
But and there was also the character Meg that's out in the swamps that she drags children down to their doom. You know, I always loved that aspect. You know, I always wanted to read more. I wanted to read more about Meg. That was crazy. And the mother had some sort of surgical operation to where she was plugged into a TV all the time in her brain. Right? Am I remembering that right?
She had an implant, so like I was like really interested in the idea of like philosophical zombies that they're basically like they look like people and they respawn like people, but inside they're completely unconscious. And so that was
that
like
shit's fascinating.
so I was really interested in that, and so it became sort of like a twisted version of that because obviously nobody was fine.
No, what do palm trees have to do with Crooked God Machine though? I've been meaning to ask you that for so long. You
I
know,
don't. Oh wait, I don't remember what my book looks like.
well, there was the really awesome cover with the artist, and I guess the rights expired or something. Right? See, here we are.
No, because yeah, I kind of feel like I should go back to that cover
I
because
kind
I
of to it.
because I have a friend who's an artist and she drew that for me. Like I I commissioned it from her, but
Yeah.
I guess the trees I wanted it to be like I don't know more like a paperback kind of, but I'm not sure
Those are
'cause
palm trees.
they're like wintry. They're like trees in winter.
Oh,
And I didn't pick the image. Just I asked. There was a what do you call him? Like a cover artist, and I was like, "Can you make me a cover?"
Hmm.
And he read the book, and he was like, "This is." I was like, "Okay." I feel like I feel like maybe the other cover was like a little bit too busy. I don't know.
and I think We Are Wormwood is actually pretty underrated, even though a lot of people were discovering you then. It's really really amazing stuff with the mother who tells stories and almost has like a shamanic presence. She wears the antlers, the skull with antlers, as like
Yeah.
a mask or a helmet or something, and she goes to the girls' school and tells stories. Right.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of this I'm having to recall from like really vague memory, but I just remember always you were always able to kick ass with the longer stories, and they never felt like they dragged. Let's see what else is going on in We Are Wormwood. Wow, doesn't she spend some time hospitalized for a time? The main character,
Yeah, she does about the midway point.
yeah. But and then there's the language that's really the imagery in it is amazing. Where somebody hides inside a tree, like
Mhm.
they open the side of a tree like it's a doorway and hide in there. And there's also something about Viking ice boats or something. Is this
Trying
is
to
this
remember.
correct? Is this correct at
Yeah.
all?
No, you're right. There's like the mother was just like really into Viking imagery. Like the story is basically like I didn't really know. It's like it's almost like the Jungian shadow, like and the story of like integrating the shadow. Um, now that I think about it, it seems pretty obvious.
I was literally gonna ask you how reading Jung has made you look back on your old work, and if your old work makes more sense to you now, like on a deeper level than it ever did after reading Jung.
I never thought about necessarily looking through that lens, but yeah, because I see like the archetypal like resonance of everything, and like some of the choices I made are very like in line with that because like the story is also sort of about like the idea of like rescuing like your father or like but it's like rescuing like your mother, so it's like you sort of like heal like the trauma of the past and then like surpass like what she was, and it's like I didn't know any of that like when I was writing it. It was just like it's interesting to see how those stories like are in all of us, and that's what feels like right.
Yeah, they're perennial kind of concepts that just
Yeah.
kind of spring out of everybody. It's interesting. It's really, really an interesting experience to get to read Jung and then see kind of how your work aligns, and then to kind of see how it impacts you. Have you read any Marie Louise von Fran yet?
I haven't.
You'll like her. She's Jung's student who wrote a lot. You should check out her work, The Shadow and Evil and Fairy Tales. It's a really good book. I think you'll really take a lot from it, just as a writer, but also just as
What?
somebody who likes to think.
Oh, I found it. I'll add it to my thing before I forget.
Totally.
What about
There we go.
The Poe novel? Did you put that aside or?
It's dead. I killed it.
Oh, man.
No. Yeah, just like it was a very ambitious project in a way that like it wasn't really working out. And I kind of wanted Poe to be this almost like this like I feel like like there's Lovecraftian novels, but there's not really like Poe novels because I feel like I wanted to sort of make the imagery into this like mythology, but I'm just like he doesn't have like the sort of recognition that like Lovecraft does. It's like so I was like, what stories do they know from him? And like most people haven't read him, so like they've read like one or two, but
Now, see, a few decades ago, it would have been the other way around. Fewer
you
people
think so?
fewer people would have known about Lovecraft, I think, and everybody talked about Poe. But now everybody thinks they've got a Lovecraftian novel. It's almost like I'm tired of hearing about the adjective Lovecraftian. I feel it.
Mhm.
And they all think that it's just tentacles. It's not just tentacles. That does not equate to Lovecraftian. A lot of people think that without realizing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
think
with you. I think it's about done.
And zombies. There's not much more to tell there. Post-apocalyptic, I'm almost over that. I mean, there are a lot of tropes that are being just pummeled into the ground.
Mhm.
But you never repeat yourself or trod old territory. You're always reinventing. So that's a good thing, right?
I think so. I don't know. I would get bored because I know people are like, I want you to write this book, but again, I'm like, you don't know what you want. I'll
Yeah,
do
exactly.
something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. I'll tell you what you want.
How do you know when a story cannot be salvaged? When it's dead.
I don't know. I don't think you can ever like know for sure. I think with this one, I rewrote it so many times and it just like wasn't coming together.
Mm. And
You
so
just know when you know, right? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a feeling, right?
Yeah, like I didn't want to give up on it because I spent so much time, and then I was like, yeah, you kind of have to.
I'm gonna let you guys talk. I've been dominating the conversation. Go ahead.
So what's the Wormwood seems to be a fairly, I don't know, popular name and I don't know, popular culture, I guess, right? There's your book, and then I think Chad Lutsky and another individual, Tim Meyer, maybe put out a book called Wormwood. Isn't there a television series called Wormwood that has something to do with MK
Yeah,
Ultra?
and then there's like a comic called like Wormwood, I think.
What's the deal with that? Like, where did you come up with Wormwood for your title? Is it based off like a biblical reference, or is it?
Yeah, well, because it's like the Wormwood star that like fell to the earth and like poisoned the rivers. So
Okay.
I kind of wish I had named it something else because I think with that book, it's like okay, like you have a book called like Girl Like a Bomb. You're like you kind of know what it's going to be about. It's just like what is We Are Wormwood? Like it's a little weird.
I mean, I like
think
the
I would've-
title. I mean, I like We Are Wormwood. I was just curious, where you got the the word, what was the reference to, right? So,
Mhm.
and do you think that's pretty much what everybody else is referring to when they're using the Wormwood name as the biblical reference?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I think it just sounds cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds cool too. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of it. Yeah. Has anybody seen the Wormwood series? It's something to do with mind control.
Yes, it's really good.
Is
It's
it?
by
Yeah.
Errol Morris. Do you like Errol Morris documentaries, Gregor?
I do not know if I do or not. What are they?
Oh shit, you're putting me on the spot here, man. He did one that's like about this weird town in Louisiana, I think, or Florida. It's Florida is the weird town. Yeah, one is there's like one about an executioner. There's damn, he like fades in. Oh, he did the recent one that just came out about Timothy Leary's ex-girlfriend, who is
About Timothy Leary's ex-girlfriend.
she's a weird chick, man. She actually like just died a couple of months, I think, before the documentary came out, and it's a really good. It's just like her talking for 2 hours, and you're like, damn, like there is no way even 60% of this is true, but I can't tell which part of it is. It's just also insane. But no, man, the Wormwood documentary is great. Oh man, if you haven't watched it, you should absolutely watch it. It's really, I think it's worth watching. It's great.
Now,
He's here.
the documentary about Timothy Leary's ex-girlfriend.
That's a good one too.
Okay, I mean, but which one are you saying is the Wormwood thing? Is that a documentary? I thought that was like a drama.
Nope, it is. It's like a documentary with like. So Errol Morris is really into collage, and the way he uses collage in his work is kind of interesting. And so what he does is he has these kind of like they're dramatizations, but they're less painful, I would say, than the average dramatization in a documentary. So it's not like a bad Unsolved Mysteries dramatization. It's more like manicured, I guess. And then it's just interspliced with actual, documentary parts. And it's really interesting. It's really worth watching. Very interesting. And
I'll have to take a look. Now, We Are Wormwood, that is a collection of short stories, or is that actually a novel?
It's a novel.
Okay. Because so you've got 2 novels and then a collection.
Well, Girl Like a Bomb
Three.
is also 3, yeah.
Mhm.
3 novels. What's the third one?
Girl Like a
That's-
Bomb.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. We Are Wormwood, Girl Like a Bomb. What's the third one?
It was Crooked God Machine.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a collection for some reason.
No.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the first collection, but yeah, you had 2 collections, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, I've only read Girl Like a Bomb. I think I might have one of the collections, but I haven't read it yet. So
You get categorized a lot as horror, but I don't know if that's
Girl
accurate.
Like a Bomb's not horror. I don't
No,
think.
it's more like I don't know what it,
Magic realist.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
yeah. I would have to go with something like that. Yeah, it would have to be.
So Ben, you really think that an Oprah book club book, Girl Like a Bomb, a Magic Hoo Ha, they'd go for that?
No, I mean like like if you like vaguely, it sounds like something that an Oprah book club would be into, but it's too graphic for that crowd because they're all bloodless and anhedonic.
Good word. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas Girl Like a Bomb has a lot of vitality to it,
The word of the
and
day.
it's also
is
probably
anhedonic.
too graphic to them.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Oprah book club would be into it, but that'd be nice for Autumn if they were. I mean, she
Maybe like
she definitely wouldn't be on the show tonight if that were the case.
The
Maybe
mean,
like
they
an
would probably-
off-brand Oprah.
I don't know. What would that be like?
explode.
I don't know.
The properties of her explosive hoo-ha, as Gregor put it, like how does that work? It's obviously it
Not
doesn't.
explosive magic.
No, but it doesn't impact her partner violently. That I
Well, no,
recall.
it doesn't
Not-
impact partner
Well,
violence.
not always.
It's not.
But sometimes.
It's not like an actual like explosion. It's like
No.
it's basically like the best orgasm like they ever had.
Okay. Because I
Yeah,
thought
but it also changes them for the better, right? That like they want to be a better person after getting it, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's supposed to like rewire their brains, so like over the course of months they start to self-actualize.
Right.
essentially.
Yeah. But then,
There,
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
well, I was gonna say there was one part that did kind of stick with me, where like this tech geek is having sex with her, and he just seems completely uninterested and distracted by it. I kind of feel like that could have been explored a bit more because it seemed like it wasn't really having an effect on him. And maybe I just
Was it
misread that
the-
part, or I'm misremembering it.
Was it the guy that was like on his phone?
So he was either on his phone or his laptop or something, because he's like a tech geek or something who's like it was like some kind of tech worker or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because like, well, it doesn't. I guess in the story, it takes a little time to like build up to that point. So like, she had gotten so successful, she basically made this into like a business where she's like, I'll
Right.
have sex with people, make you better. And so you end up catering to the rich, and like, because you can't have sex with everyone. You have to allocate your time like
Yeah,
somehow.
obviously.
But the consequence of that obviously is that you get these people that one of the reasons that they are who they are is because like they feel like the role owes them, or they're just like they're not involved, and they just like want to throw money at the problem. So she originally, like in the beginning, she was like very passionate, and then she's like, well, these people like don't even want to be here. They don't want to experience this. They just want to, throw money at it, have this problem go away.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was
Yeah.
like a Silicon Valley tech guy or something like that at that point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And he was
or I
just
can
kind of like doing it because that's what the people in his set
Yeah.
were doing, right? You
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah,
cool. It's
I-
like microdosing, or we're all
Yeah,
doing it.
Yeah.
much like drinking children's blood is the next big thing in Silicon Valley, apparently.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that scene, and another scene that stands out is the I don't know, I don't know what the character. I mean, I wanted to say it's a Colombian drug lord or something.
The terrorist, I think.
Is that what it is? A terrorist? Okay.
Yeah, I never gave him a name. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that character, and I like that interaction. I thought that was good. And yeah, I do recall it seems like there was with the tech guy, did she have like a bunk bed or something, or like a loft type bed in the room?
I don't remember. I think the bed was like on a platform.
Yeah,
I
like the
don't
bed was on a
recall.
platform, like
Yeah.
I recall that. Yeah, and that was and at that point she was very successful, and it was a kind of like I don't know, like you're kind of going to check out and hang out with Madame Blavatsky or something, kind of a situation almost, right? So,
Yeah.
What is
At that point, it was sucking the joy out for everyone involved because, like I say, it was just like a business now.
yeah.
you have quite a bit of an experience designing like code for games or something, right? What games have you worked on?
I was a game designer, so for like mobile games, so probably nothing that anyone's heard of. I mean, I worked on The Ville, which was sort of like a Sims like Farmville for Zynga. And then I worked on something called Battle Nation. What else? I did Heroes of Dragon Age, which was like the mobile EA game, like Dragon Age, but it was like a card capture, card battles type game. And then I did some freelance writing for State of Decay too, and that was like the last thing I worked on.
So I mean that's pretty cool. That's like so you write weird like dark fiction and you work on video games. It's like that's like two different worlds. That's awesome.
Yeah, I ended up quitting because I could. But like,
was the gaming thing like more like just a paycheck to you?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I always had fun, and I do miss like the team aspect of it because it's like you're going to work, you're all like having a goal. But I guess like my heart was never in it, and it's kind of weird when you're doing something that's like so many people's dream job, and you just feel like you're not being the best you could be.
Like it does sound like it's a dream job, but like you said, if you're basically just being a code monkey for some mobile game that nobody recognizes, and I can see, it would be not the most fulfilling experience. But given that you do have the experience in that, have you ever thought about trying to do some kind of game of your own or something like that?
Yeah, at some point. Well, I was like learning Unity back when like everything was shut down. I guess it kind of is depending on where you live, but it was just like the amount of work I would have to put in to make something that like wasn't even good. Like as like a single person. So like I would like at some point, like if I could, like assemble a team. Because like my husband, like he still works in games. But so it's like I have resources, so it's like maybe at some point. I mean, like I have like I know people still like that do that kind of thing. So it's like at some point I would. I think that's part of it too, because it's like, you know, so many people that design games, like they're essentially artists, but then it's like, okay, now draw the McDonald's logo. Like this is what all your talent is gonna like be put toward.
Yeah, and the goal is to eventually be able to build up enough of a resume that you have more freedom, I would guess, with like career designers, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's so like dependent on the team and everything. Like I have a friend who's a producer for ZeniMax, so they do like this the Elder Scrolls Online. So it's like she seems to really like her job, but it's like also like a cool game too, right? So that has to matter a lot. I don't think many people are like, yeah, I want to like design games and like I want to do like Barbie Dream World or I don't know, like games for like 10 years old. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say it's one of the it's kind of like movies. Like I'm sure a lot of people want to make movies, but even more so than something like painting or writing or anything like that. It's very difficult to actually get to a status where you can be like an auteur. I guess like a Hideo Kojima or something like that.
Yeah, and I almost feel like there really isn't that many like rock star designers anymore. I feel like for a while that used to be like a really big thing. Like the designer's name would be like on the box.
Like John Romero, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I kind of feel like that probably has gone away to some extent, and at least I don't know, maybe in the US, because I kind of feel like most of the major games like they really aren't auteur driven, and a lot of the ones that were like ended up planning on their face at some point. Like Peter Molyneux was a punchline because of that.
Yeah, because he was huge like for a while, and then it was like,
and John Romero too. He became a punchline because of Daikatana.
Yeah, it's like
Forgot about Daikatana.
yeah, I forgot what I was going to say, but
Do you think mobile games are the future?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I remember when Blizzard had that big reveal of like a Diablo game, and people were waiting for what was it, Diablo 4 for PC, and they're like, "You guys do have phones, don't you?"
It's like, is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
Yeah,
it's like everybody hated that.
The energy just deflated in that room. They were like, "Oh yeah, oh, but it's a phone Diablo game." What? I mean,
You know, I can't imagine that those guys. I mean, how could they not know that wouldn't go over well? You know,
I
They
know.
know.
they're
lot
just
of
so
places-
disconnected from reality. I mean, I
Very
don't even
arrogant.
care about this stuff. I mean, I don't hate video games. I just don't play them. But I would know that, right? I mean, you know.
I
Like-
think sometimes people just get so arrogant that they really believe that they
Yeah.
can just do whatever the fuck they want and people will just lap it up. And it's like, yeah, Frank, so didn't Sid Meier was he the one who did Black and White? I was trying to remember. I thought it was
Did
Peter Molyneux.
Civilization?
I thought Black and White was
Yeah, I know.
Molyneux, wasn't it?
Maybe
I'm
he
pretty
was
sure that was
Molyneux.
Peter Molyneux. Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucking game should have been so much better than it was. It was so
But-
great until the animal got taken away. And then it was
But-
like, what the fuck is this?
But yeah, the last.
Yeah,
I was
that
gonna say the
level,
last.
it was like Act 3 or something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like Act 2, the animal gets swapped, and then it comes back in Act 3, and it's the opposite alignment. So all the work you put into the first act is completely wiped away, and you get the complete opposite result no matter what you do. And it's like, that's so fucking unsatisfying that it haunts me today. Still. No,
And
man,
that-
it's like as a video game designer and reader, do you like to read visual novels, and / would you ever write a visual novel and just get an artist and do like a really very light programming job and combine your skills?
Yeah, I've thought about that because that seems. I mean, that sounds really fun. It's one of those things I can get really like myopic, I guess, where I'm like, okay, just like focus on what you're writing and block out everything. But
What's a visual novel? I'm not cool in any way. I don't know what that is.
It's a form of Japanese video game essentially. Where, that's like really simplifying it. Where it's like a light novel with pictures and usually choose your own adventure style branch points of
yeah,
the story with multiple
Yeah.
endings and like one true ending.
But there's actual like it's illustrated as well as being a choose your own adventure book.
Lightly, there will be usually illustrations for the characters and some settings, and then there will be like a few illustrated scenes throughout. So if it's a sexy one, you'll get some H scenes, or if it's a,
You get some
a
what scenes?
mystery
Some what
H
scenes?
H
scenes.
hentai.
Oh,
Sexy
okay.
scene
Porn.
with boobies. Yes, porn. Thank you for saying
Okay.
a bad word.
Well, I thought
So
hentai was like pinnacle porn specifically.
what's that?
That's a subgenre.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay. I thought hentai
Yeah.
was exclusively tentacle porn, but it's not.
Wow, no. How old are you, Carter? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know.
Old enough
That's
to
what I'm
have
saying. Like, I'm
2,000
an
goats in
ignorant
my
person.
goat
I
Yes.
just want to be educated.
He has a
Totally.
wife. He doesn't need to beat his meat to Japanese anime.
How many goats do you have in your goat folder, Gregor? I just do want to know.
Really? Really?
Are we going that route right now?
Is it like
So,
4,000?
but it's not. I mean, I've always been told that.
No, it's
don't
all
know.
kinds of it's whatever
No.
It's just animated.
So what do you
porn.
call
That's all.
this the subgenre that is tentacle porn?
Tentacle porn.
Tentacle porn.
It doesn't have a nice name
Ping
like
Pong Club.
Bakken or something like that.
Ping Pong
It
Club.
probably-
Does not, while Ping Pong Club does not have tentacles in it, I don't think that I could see that being classified as tentacle porn because it's just so shamelessly perverted. That's my interpretation.
Do they have
I think
animated
everybody-
Bakken or Bukkake, or is that not something
Yeah.
they do?
Yeah,
They do it
sure.
all.
They have everything.
you-
Whatever
there's
your
a lot
heart
of hentai.
desires.
There's a lot of hentai where one guy will just spray like a fucking fire hose.
Yeah, or it'll be like a big, like it'll just come gushing out around the penis
Yeah.
out of the.
I think
I
I
mean,
think
you're asking
everybody-
Autumn if she wants to write one of these things.
Well, no, but
Yeah,
No,
if you
in
want
the
to
one, you
write your own
put it in,
version of the
there-
Legend of the Overfiend Autumn.
there are other kinds that are horror or mystery or whatever. You just didn't let me finish. I started off with the headliner, and I should have led you in gently.
Yes, because
So-
we are
I've-
we're shameless degenerates. We immediately went to the porn visual novels.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I suddenly feel very naive because I'm like, I don't watch this.
It's like, what have I been pulled into here?
So the visual novels, they have like the manga style artwork in them.
Yeah, they have like usually an anime style character, and a lot of visual novels will go on to become anime sometimes if they're very
Okay.
successful.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
And are
yeah,
they
it's
clicky?
like,
do you click them? Do you click them?
yeah, you click
the
them, you go through the
selection.
text, and then usually after you've read to a certain point and hit a certain point in the style, you'll be presented with a choice.
But you can
The
do it
thing is,
all with
like-
one hand, right?
Absolutely, that's
Well, the thing is, like, when there was like a very brief time where visual novels were a thing in Western video games, but one, they were mostly FMV driven, and also, you know, people expected like gameplay. They didn't just want like the choose your own adventure stuff.
What do you say? FMD driven? Is that what you said?
FMV, full motion
Full motion.
video.
Okay.
so like
Okay.
Phantasmagoria. You're kind of talking about the kind of point and click and
Yeah,
Fusion
kind
a
of like
little
that.
Okay.
That like that one was tried to be like that, but it had like very basic. But the puzzles on it were like really, really basic.
I think Telltale kind of brought that back for a while, but then
Yeah, that's another one.
they could never replicate their success with the Walking Dead, so they ended up shutting down.
So do you also draw, Autumn? I mean, are you like a visual artist as well?
No, I'm terrible at drawing.
Okay.
So she's bringing up the idea of a visual novel, and somehow we got onto erotica. But honestly, I think that having read enough of your books and familiarized myself with your style, I think that erotica would be, in the words of what's her name from The Exorcist? A vulgar display of your power, right? I don't know. It's what you do. What you do is a little bit
No.
more involved, and that's not a slight on erotica, but I don't know. I feel like what you do is the vibe is definitely different. It's
Well,
definitely
you lure people in with the sex.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's seductive.
You're just like in a shady corner, like, hey, come over here, and then you steal their wallet.
Yeah.
It is
But you know, in a literary way.
yeah.
Yeah, in a way that also gives them enlightenment, just like in Girl Like a Bomb. Oh, it's a metaphor for your career, babe.
You know what? With you working with Clash Books, you know, I'm fascinated with how far Clash Books has come. It's run by Christoph and Lisa, right?
Hmm.
And I'm amazed with how they've been able to draw in comedians and like this fashionista named Tia.
Tia?
Ha, ha, uh,
I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Actually.
yeah, I don't either. But
Yeah, she's a great writer.
I've heard, and I'm going to check her out. But and who is the comedian? Greg somebody. But
I know who you're thinking of, and like I
I'm
can
not-
see his picture in my head, but I can't remember his name or the name of his fucking book. It's something
I don't remember.
party something.
but Clash Books has really come a far way. And in fact, I think they fill a lot of the void that Eraserhead Press used to fill, and maybe Bizarro Pulp Press. You know, I feel like Clash Books has kind of taken the top spot. And what is their secret? Is it just like constantly being in tune with the search engine optimization, or what? I mean,
Well, I think a big one is that Christoph, like, he reads everything that people send in, and his submissions are open all the time. And I think he has sort of a willingness, because you'll see some publishers, and it's like they're just like publishing their friends, but he really is like searching for just the thing that grabs him, and it's like very like diverse selection of books too. So it's like they have a little horror, like sci-fi, and then they have like very weird, like experimental things. They have a thing called like, who was it? They published something called 50 Barn Poems, which was like, like ridiculously popular for some reason. I don't know what it is, but you're like, 50 Barn Poems. I didn't know I needed this.
Yeah.
Um,
I kind of think like the fact that he isn't chasing trends, or well, he and Lisa aren't chasing trends, is a big part of it. Like, I mean, yeah, they have like stuff like Comaville, which is published by an actor, not like a big name actor, but an actor some people would recognize, and that's a pretty good book in of itself. But they also have stuff like the book that's in defense of ska. Like, I don't know if anyone was actually asking for that, but it seems to have taken off.
But it's ridiculously, like, I think it's one of their like top sellers now. It just on the pre-orders.
what is it? Is it an anthology or what?
In defense of ska.
Yeah,
It's just like from what I know, I think it's just like a history of like ska and
Or an essay or something. Yeah.
I don't know that many people have written about ska, so that's a good idea.
It's on their website.
I think-
if you're looking for it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on Amazon yet,
Fine.
but oh yeah, one of I think
Yeah.
I can't remember which of Sam Pink's books they published, but one of the poems from that went viral.
Yeah, and it was just
It's called Piece of. The poem's called Piece of Shit. Piece A Shit, and the poem is: every time I approach a frog and it jumps away with me, I'm like, what the fuck, man? And that's the poem.
yeah, and it like blew
Very
up.
Sam Pink.
Yeah.
Ben, are you a ska fan? I can't remember.
I like the first generation Jamaican ska. Not much after that.
What about Less Than Jake?
That's not what I think of when I think of ska.
Oh, come on. It's catchy
It
and it's almost
doesn't
innocent.
sound like ska to me. It just sounds like alt rock to me.
Well, it sounds like music to me. But I mean, it's got a horn section. Is that not ska?
Well, Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, what about
And
the
they
Boston?
I I don't recall ever hearing them.
You've never heard the Boss Tones?
I probably heard something of theirs.
They're not ska either, I don't think.
What? Well, then what are they?
Aren't they kind of like a big band rip-off type of thing or something?
Rip off of what?
Well, not a rip-off, but like a throwback to big band or something like that, I thought.
I thought they were ska. I'm sorry.
Well, you
Maybe
might be right. I'm like I said, I'm ignorant.
That maybe they're swing. I don't
I'm
know.
ignorant of things that most
I mean-
people know about.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Desmond Decker a lot, and Justin Hines.
never heard of them. I don't know.
You never heard of the Israelites?
Huh.
I mean, that's basically the song that made ska go international.
Hmm. Okay. Well, some ska's good. I mean, you know,
No,
it's
it's not true.
okay.
Go listen to the real
Well,
stuff
this-
like Desmond
Maybe the
Decker.
book is for you. It's an argument. It's an argument for ska. If you.
Right.
No, yeah, it's
So-
not for me. That book is not for me.
So
Well, they told me I should write in defense of dubstep.
dubstep. Oh,
Yeah, because I like dubstep. Well, Christoph is like, I like everything about you except that you like dubstep.
that's like club
Do it.
music, right?
Yeah.
Autumn, look at me. Do it. Do it.
This
Do it.
could become a series in defense of grindcore, in defense of swing, I mean, in defense of crustcore. I don't even know what that is, but I mean, I've heard of it. I don't know.
Crust core, is that what you said?
There are all kinds of subdivisions of punk and metal. Yeah, and one of them is crustcore, where it's like, you know,
Yeah, I'll write the defense of grindcore if Chris will have me. If Chris and Lisa will have me.
how do you defend grindcore? It's like 30-second songs of incomprehensible, like glass throat gargling. Like,
That's the appeal. You just don't get it,
Yeah.
man.
You
If they're only
you're
30
defending-
seconds, I could probably deal with it.
If you could pull that book off, you would be like achieving the impossible.
It would give. I mean, it would be pretty cool.
It would be a
research
great
the actual
achievement.
history.
Is all I'm saying.
I could probably. It'd be funny to go even more obscure and say in defense of something like cyber grind or something like that.
what is cyber grind? Where do they
It's
come from?
grindcore mixed with techno.
Get with the times, old man.
No kidding. I am old if I've never heard of this. See, I think that most of these subgenres, they're born on the West Coast because they're very much into like classifications over there. Am I right? Is
Well,
that
I mean,
What the fuck are you
nowadays,
talking
that genre- nowadays,
He's
genres-
high. He's high.
I
nowadays
think everyone's
genres
into
are born of the internet.
classifications.
Yeah.
that's
like-
true.
what now?
The
Yeah.
human brain is into classifications.
There's like a
You can go
thousand
on.
like waves, like vaporwave. I don't know. There's like Simpson wave
Synthwave.
now.
I don't
I
know
feel
what the
like-
difference is between synthwave and vaporwave. I don't know what the difference is.
I don't know.
The
Synthwave
first place I
stuff.
usually see this shit is on 4chan's music board. That's where I see all the new names. Where it's
You're
like,
going
you
to
know,
4chan. That's your first mistake.
Kitten Core. I only
But,
go to the good boards.
Kitten core.
I
Wow.
don't know. I'm
That's
just making
probably
shit
a
up.
thing, but- yeah, you can like go on Rate Your Music and like get lost in like the tree of different subgenres that are listed on there.
But they all have their devotees, which is amazing. But math metal, that's a thing. Not many musicians can pull it off unless they're like a band full of drummers. But in defense of new metal, I will defend new metal to my grave.
Oh man, I can't
Write
stand
the book,
it.
Jeremy.
Maybe I will. I don't.
I mean,
I don't know. I'd be barging in on their trademark though. I'd call.
So why? I mean, how is it that new metal is appealing to you, Jeremy?
Well, first off, I grew up with it in high school, you know, angst-ridden and very full of frustration from, you know, having to go to school and deal with people at all. And new metal was always there to go from a gentle whisper to a roaring, like, throat-shattering scream. And it was
Who
always
doesn't like Deftones?
Deftones, yeah.
New metal is good. New metal is good because the riffs slap and there's a guy in a clown mask hitting a keg.
Yes. See, and Ben knows because he's in Iowa where Slipknot originated from, and I love Slipknot too. I was out of the gates promoting Slipknot when they just had a demo cassette with 2 songs, and I was
Yeesh.
telling everybody who would listen, these guys are the
Hipster.
future. Huh?
Hipster.
No, it's not hipster. No, you don't understand
little
how hard it is to promote things here in Tennessee in the way that they might catch on. I moved a mountain by promoting Slipknot to my high school. Even people that hated me listened to Slipknot after that.
Good job, Jeremy.
I,
I'm sure
I-
Slipknot
good job.
appreciates you.
Dude,
Actually, I think that's terrible.
well, anyway, I will defend new metal to my grave. Did you
Well, you
you
probably
like
have
Deftones,
to.
didn't you, Autumn?
what?
Did you like Deftones?
Yeah,
White Pony? It's like
yeah, that was amazing.
yeah. And they're still going today. Although
I don't think they're like. Are they considered new metal still? I don't know.
I considered them new metal back in the day. They were hanging around with Korn and Limp Bizkit, but I don't know. Now they're probably something else, like art rock, or they're probably more like alternative rock now. But yeah, their bassist died. Horrible car crash.
Yeah, I forgot about that a couple years ago.
You ever seen Deftones live though?
Have I? No,
Yeah. You go to a lot of concerts?
no.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, not anymore. Not when we had the chance to. Right now, but.
Yeah,
I saw Tool like 2 or 3 times, and man, that band amazes me. What did you think of their new one?
the
Who
new
you asking?
album.
Yeah,
Yeah, are you asking all of us?
I haven't listened to it.
I
I
think
don't really
that
listen to Tool.
Tool
Yeah, I
is
don't like
still
anything.
what Tool is
No,
still
anything great.
Tool is still like
Gregor don't like shit and don't go outside.
Tool
That's
is still
exactly
above
right.
average, even at their worst. But I don't think that they worked 5 or 6 years on that. I think they threw it together because they finally said, "All right, we've been."
That's a great endorsement.
But
They're
I
above
feel,
average even at their worst.
listen, everybody else in their senior year was worried about what college they were going to. I was worried about, when Lateralis was coming out. And it was pushed back 2 or 3 times, I think. And
Hence why you're
I
here
wouldn't
now.
admit to that.
yeah, because of that, here I am now. Yeah,
the
thing,
man
good
he
thing.
is today.
good thing I was so religious with my love of a prog metal band or whatever.
I wasn't a huge fan of their last Tool album.
What, 10,000 Days?
No, the new one.
You weren't a fan?
No.
Yeah. Like I said, I still liked it, but it did not feel like something that they painstakingly worked on for 6 years. I think they threw it together in a few months. So,
Did they claim to have done that?
well, they didn't really say either way, but they were not releasing a new album for 5 or 6 years, and so I thought they were actually diligently working. Yeah, you know what? There for a while, Lemmy from Motorhead was given more Tool updates than actually Tool. It's like, oh yeah, they're in the studio beside me, and it's like Tool like not saying a word for like a year. We're getting Tool updates from Lemmy. That was another reason to like Lemmy. But Frank, that sounds like an awesome show, man. That sounds like a stacked lineup. Oh my God, I bet you got your ass kicked in the mosh pit. I never was a fan of the mosh pits, but anybody else?
Like I've only been in a couple. One was when Wu-Tang was live. They had a brief mosh pit in honor of Old Dirty Bastard. And the other was like a country punk band who had a sort of mosh pit in the front, but there really wasn't enough room to have a proper one.
I feel like every mosh pit contains like at least like one just total asshole. Because like generally everybody's kind of nice, so then there's this one guy just like swinging his arms around trying to punch people.
Yeah, I mean, it's built for that, right? I mean, isn't that why it's there?
You're like, is that the point?
I think
I
that's
guess
the point.
First time I went to go see Swans, which was in Columbus, Ohio, there was a little mosh pit that had started to develop in like the middle / back of the room, and between songs, Michael stopped and his black eyes like peer out over the crowd like these demon eyes, and he's like, knock that moshing shit off. If you want to be gay, go to a Green Day concert. Yes,
Like,
sir.
I mean,
Sorry,
so
So
sir.
what venue was it that you saw them?
Oh, fuck. It's like a goth club. Starts with an O. Probably if I look, I still have the ticket. Hold on.
Orange
Let's see.
peel.
But I'm actually,
not
I don't know. I guess I don't know if I should be surprised at that or not because like the early
Outlands.
Swans.
Right?
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I used to live up there.
I don't know if I should be surprised at that or not because the early Swan stuff is, of course, very violent, very the lyrics are all about engaging in self-destruction.
And anybody who's read The Consumer by Michael Gira
Oh yeah,
can come to the conclusion that this guy would probably, you'd think he'd get off on seeing people destroy each other.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's got this Wagnerian kind of obsessive control and this idea of wanting like total control over the perceived experience of his art. And he's talked about how, you know, if he could ban you from listening to his music on phones, he would, and all this stuff. It's very intense for him. And he's talked. It used to be in like the 70s and 80s. He'd talk about how he wanted his audience to be still like docile sheep, but now he says it's acceptable if they gently sway like narcotized monkeys. That's fine for him, but no more than that.
I can't imagine that because those first couple Swans albums, it's impossible for me not to get up and stomp around to them.
Fuck, I know. A Screw is like one of the greatest, most fucking hard songs ever created. And it's like, how do you not like just party down to that song when you're hearing it live, man? Oh shit!
So,
Jesus.
how many dogs you got now? You became a dog person, huh?
Here's the fuzzy boy.
Are you
Oh, talking to
me,
Autumn?
Fuzzy
Jeremy?
boy.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you became a dog person, right? Or maybe you always were.
Your cat sounds a lot like you. I assume your cat's
Yeah, the
talking
cat's
to me.
talking. Yeah, he is.
Your cat's like, how many dogs you have? Huh? I have 3. I have 3. They're all mutts.
Very, very therapeutic, though, aren't they? Animals are therapeutic.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I guess it's kind of lame, but they do teach you like responsibility. It's like a baby that never grows up. So,
Mm-hmm.
So what are their names?
the kid, Pris, after Pris and Blade Runner, and then Sunshine.
I like the
Oh,
kid.
very
That's great.
The kid.
Are they big or small? Like,
They're like medium. Like 2 are like 40 pounds, and then one's like 60.
Did you get them all from the shelter?
I got one from the shelter. I got one from like a foster kind of place, and then I stole the last one.
We've all done
From
it.
somebody's yard.
Yeah, well, like they would like leave it outside, and then it started hanging out with us like every time we'd go out. And then eventually, well, like at one point they were yelling for her, like Sunshine, and then she like ran into our house, like away from them.
Oh.
So when we moved to San Diego, like we just took her with us. We're like, we're
So was
stealing
there
your
like a
dog.
little girl crying in the front yard when you guys were driving off with that dog?
No. Probably, but
you know, something that you wrote in a blog about dogs really resonated with me, though. When you said that you look at your dog and you worry about you picturing him dead, and how, but then you like you worked it out in your mind that like it's not healthy to think that way, and how you're supposed to celebrate them while they're alive and accept death as a natural course. You know, that have things that happen, but you don't have to dwell on it while they're alive. That was really a mature conclusion to make. You know, and it resonated with me too. You have a good perspective in your blogs.
Is that what made you want to give away your cats?
I'm not giving away my cats. What are you talking about?
You were just talking about giving away your cats earlier this evening.
Well, that's
No, if I could find
Actually, you were setting, but you could have said we're loosing it wild. Is
well,
what you
hang
said.
on. Not
Yeah,
this
Ted,
one.
leave
Not this one. This one's staying. I just said if I could find responsible, animal owners who would treat them like,
That's not what you said.
Yeah,
You said,
Leave
you said that some of them would probably be cool about in the wild, just letting them loose out in the wild.
well, I was
you,
getting to that.
you
Yes,
got like
some of
he's
them.
got like 15, and some of them are already half feral.
Are you not saying what you
Don't
were
let the-
saying before because the cat's right there? Is that why you're?
This one isn't going anywhere. This one's
Yeah.
Cats are like environmental terrorists. Like, don't let them outside.
Dude, I've
leave a
rescued
leave
a
a
cat this weekend, or helped
Did you?
it anyway.
What happened?
We take our morning walk all the time, and there's like this little parking area where it's like we thought that this was just like the cat of the people who sleep in their cars there sometimes, because since the fire we've had a lot of people who are just dehomed and they're sleeping in their cars,
You said they were
and so we assumed,
dehomed?
yes, dehomed
Okay,
by
I've
the
never
fire.
heard that.
Yeah. So these cats that we've seen a cat at least hanging around, and Dwayne thinks he's seen another one. And the cat that was hanging around, we saw it on Friday, and it was like missing a patch of its undercoat, and I don't know. I don't know if you guys like. I feel like sometimes animals just give you a vibe where they're like, "Will you help me?"
Mm.
And it's like he wasn't like in imminent danger, but he was definitely like, I'm lost and ready to go home if you could do something about this. So I took a picture of him and I put it on our local community group of busybodies here for our town on like Facebook group. And I was like, this cat is at this location. This is where he lives in this field. I used to think he was one of the, homeless people's cats, but I think he is just a stray. Can somebody check on him? Because I'm not sure he's doing well. And I guess a lady then, like the next day, went and picked him up, and he hopped right in her car. And he went home, and he got a big can of tuna. And she looked him up, and she found him on a lost cat board and contacted the owner. And the owner, gave up the cat to this lady, basically to foster, quote unquote. We all know that's really just adoption. And so he's got a new home, and I'm really glad, and I'm relieved because I was worried like shit about that cat since I saw him on Friday. So it works. The system works. Sometimes the internet isn't all fucking bad. It's just
Wait, are you saying Nextdoor does good things sometimes?
yeah, sometimes I
Yeah.
guess. But it's like we got another criminal off the street, Autumn. This bird killer is now behind window bars.
That's
Where
good.
it belongs to be.
Yeah, getting 3
Yeah.
squares a day and awaiting the days
So what do you-
going by. But the long and short of it is, leave a comment on this web zone, and Jeremy will email you one of his cats.
Right through your inbox.
Yes, the cat will come out of the screen into your loving arms.
So what are you working on again now that the novel has been dropped? It's you think you said it
It's a
earlier.
giant science fiction novel that's really fat, is what she said. Right?
It was
Yeah.
The cult leader. Baby.
Yeah, so those are two different ones. Yeah, I'm working on two different things.
What is the giant science fiction novel?
So I've been working on that one for about 2 years. I think. God, I hate how that sounds. But yeah, because the Poe story I told you about earlier, Jeremy, I incorporated a lot of elements of that, but it's more just like a straight. It is a sci-fi. It's about a girl who is working on a video game, and then she ends up accidentally kind of creating like the beginnings of like the first super intelligence. So it's sort of like, it's basically like reverse Crooked God Machine, because it's like a good robot overlord.
Oh wow!
But it kind of like explores like all the implications of that, because I'm really interested in the idea of like self-actualization. So I'm like, what if it was like Girl Like a Bomb, but like on a mass scale, in the sense like there was a thing inside your head that could like algorithmically like help you choose the right path. But it was like, it would have to be like a super intelligence of like huge scale that would be like in everything. So it kind of follows like present day. She's working on the game, and then it creates this like little silly program, and then it's like 100 years in the future, it's like an actual like super intelligence, and then like thousands of years, like because I thought maybe it was like a little too ambitious, but like I think it's coming together. I'm about 80% done.
So what's the
And,
other thing you're working on then? I mean, I like that premise.
What's that?
I like the premise of that book. But what's the other thing you're working on?
The other one is more. It's still in like the planning stage, but it's like a cult book. And I'm writing that one for Clash because they wanted me to. They asked if they could have a book for like 2023. But I really wanted to do something that was like a almost like a Hannibal, like Will Graham type, like essentially like the story of like the yin yang and how like the dark and the light become one. But it's like about cults too.
Right
So
on.
What, a good
like
cult
cults.
and a good cult and a bad cult? Or a
No,
good-
it's so far it's one cult. There's like run by like a couple, and then they sort of bring in like this outsider, and they end up like influencing each other because like, well, I was researching Scientology and I kind of got annoyed because I was like, and Nixium, because I was like, all these cults are just like, they're obviously bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have a good grift going, and then you're gonna run it with like child molestation. I was like, someone should do like a good cult.
Nexium was seriously fucked up. Branding women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also
And you
thought
didn't
they
even
were
have to do
reincarnations of
that.
Nazi party leaders.
Oh, that's always
See that?
right. Yeah, that's always
Yeah.
a positive.
Was that Nixium?
Yeah.
They
And they also had a
actually,
psychopathy test, or no, a Luciferian test. Did you see that?
no.
No.
They would just to hook up like electrodes to your body to get to get a reading on how you reacted to like violent rape videos and murder videos and stuff like that to determine whether or not you were a quote unquote Luciferian.
Oh, buddy.
That's more interesting than the fucking E-meter, that's for sure.
And to,
Yeah, I
Well, yeah, for
guess.
sure, yeah.
and to think that the girl from Smallville was like
Yeah.
giddily like assisting him. I mean, she definitely looks like she's been brainwashed. She does not look like, she came to follow him out of legitimate admiration. It's like,
I mean, she was like a recruiter type, right? I mean,
Well, I know.
she was like the Ghislaine Maxwell to his
Yeah.
Epstein,
She was
right?
like,
You know what I mean?
she was like the deep inner circle, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I don't think that women normally exhibit that deep of a perversion. It
I
has.
think that you
installed-
just are a little bit
Possibly.
naive.
Well, no, wait a minute. It has to be
But
installed
it
by
isn't even
a male
necessarily.
personality that is strong enough to imprint. I don't think that a woman comes by those kinds of perversions naturally.
I think that you're
It's
being
not,
like some kind of
There were-
come
creepy
on.
guy.
There were women guards in concentration camps. It's women being sociopaths
True.
is not
That's true.
a novel thing.
Yeah, like
Ilsa
behind
She-Wolf
every
of the
evil woman
SS,
is
baby.
obviously a man.
Wait, what now?
What was that, Autumn?
I said behind every evil woman, it's obviously a man that fucked her up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Jeremy was saying. Oh, these
I'm
ladies,
not-
they're so
I'm
nice.
not-
They can't do stuff like that.
I'm not white knighting. I'm saying that
Yeah, you're white knighting for this cult leader lady.
this notion of branding your initials into a woman's flesh, I just don't think that it exists in the psyche of a normal, healthy woman to have
it
that
doesn't exist in the normal, healthy psyche of anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
to have that kind of a kink. That's not a typical female kink. That kind
I mean,
of thing. That's a
That's a
distinct
typical
male.
male kink? What are you talking about?
Yes,
May not
it's a
even be a
distinctly
kink.
male kink.
May not
The-
even be a
Dude.
kink thing.
The need to
It might
possess.
just be sociopathy.
The need to.
Dude.
Yeah, it is sociopath. It's
Touch a woman.
I know. It's like Jeremy, but he's projecting
Jeremy.
so super hard right now.
I know what I'm talking about.
No,
You're
you
like,
don't.
it's every man has these thoughts, I swear. Surely if I have these thoughts, everyone does.
Everyone does. Every man does. But if they say they don't, they're lying to themselves.
But it was one of her initials that was getting stamped on these
It was the
people.
guy's initials.
No, it was hers too.
Oh,
It was a
really?
combination.
Was it?
It was
I
like,
was like,
it was like it was his from one angle, and then it was like hers from the other.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
called the 50-50 split. That's
Yeah.
called equitable. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that Bible
Yeah.
tale.
We need
How about if we split the baby in half, and you would take one?
Yeah.
It's like maybe it's like that. I don't.
It's like
Have
that
you been-
joke. We need more female representation in leaders of sex trafficking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How come there aren't any female cult leaders? Huh? guess-
Well, I
Just
was just
one.
gonna ask you, have you been reading about this Mother God woman running the Love Has Won cult in Hawaii right now?
Whoa.
No.
No, I've not heard of
Who's
that.
that?
This chick is crazy. She calls herself Mother God, and I think she had like a psychotic break after having a child. And ever since she's like said that she's, it's like anytime somebody's a reincarnation, it's always of somebody, it's like, I'm Himmler, it's like that's the worst, that's
Yeah.
the lowest they'll go. It won't be somebody you've never heard of. It's, they'd rather be a Nazi than someone you'd never heard of. But she's like,
And-
I used to be Cleopatra, and now I remembered that I'm God. And it's like, yeah, lady, we're all God. I'm God. My cat's God. Like my consciousness is God. Technically, everything is a part of God. So what makes you really that special? But she does, like, her followers do these TikTok videos, and they're on stream like all day sometimes, and they're just like very very interesting folks. So if you're thinking
You're talking about
like,
Amy Mother God Carlson. Is that who you're talking
that
about?
sounds like
Mother
her
God.
name. Yes.
Is this it right here?
No, that is a completely unrelated video from Vice, which I have
Yeah.
seen, but is
Yeah,
unrelated.
it's Amy Carlson or
Just
Amy
type-
Mother God Carlson. That's who she's talking about. I've not heard of this individual.
type
I'm gonna
that in.
look it up.
Yeah, just type in Amy Carlson or Mother God Amy Carlson. She's a troubled lady. She reminds me a little bit of that cult, the one in Canada, guy with the unpronounceable name, the Anthill Kids. They were like super violent because their leader was like a really belligerent alcoholic who was like incredibly just like beyond blackout drunk all the time. And she sounds like kind of the female version of that guy, where she's like always getting like blackout fucking hammered and screaming and shit. So I'm sure
That
this
her?
is not gonna go well. Is that her? It doesn't necessarily look like her. I think that might be someone else, or possibly her when she was very young, because it's
Okay.
definitely not looking like her now.
It says "Hello, loves, I am Mother God," and it's got her picture.
Yeah, that must be her when she was younger, because she definitely
That
doesn't
looks
look
like
as good now.
That looks like an old website.
Yeah. Which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's worth looking into. It's a very interesting
Yeah.
subject, and especially because there are very many like modern cults that are starting to truly take hold and develop because of the internet. So it's very interesting, very strange.
Yeah, I have to
There's
take a look at
one,
that. I like to read about cults.
There's one that worships Gadget from Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh dear.
Is that
What's
that
Gadget?
serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, speaking of craziness, that dude that shot up the folks in Indiana FedEx facility was a brony.
I heard about that
Yeah.
shit.
Come
What
on.
the fuck?
Yeah, and then it said, this is one of the best things about it. The article that I read, it was like, oh, and Facebook took down the guy's profile, based on, hey, the police wanted him to take down his profile. But, Facebook made a comment, as far as their little report to the police, I guess, talking about like the last thing the guy wrote was, he hopes that he could be with Applejack in the afterlife. And then they
That's
also
true.
said, and this is Facebook's opinion that they gave to the police. Bronies are often associated with far right and white supremacist, subcultures. Like, come on, man! Like, no, they're not.
Maybe
They're
we
not
should
What was that?
associate the two though, because then fewer people
mean,
will
that
want
was
to be
that-
Nazis, because then they'll have to be bronies.
Yeah, let's
that
make
was that
Nazis
one-
not cool.
Yeah, there was that one gay weirdo who I can't remember what he called himself, but his whole thing is he tried to come up with like a Nazi interpretation of the My Little Pony series, and he was regularly interviewed on fucking the same sites that Richard Spencer and shit was on.
Jesus Christ.
But it actually reminds me, there was another shooter I think they only killed like 2 people, but their whole thing was that they were obsessed with a character from Danny Phantom, and they believed that when they died, they would reincarnate.
Randy Stair, right?
Yeah, him.
Oh God, man.
Wait, is Danny? Was who? Phantom? Was that what?
That's it. The
a
cartoon
cartoon.
Danny Phantom.
Children's cartoon on Nickelodeon.
Is it like
from
this little fat kid?
2005 to 2008.
No,
No.
he was a skinny guy.
And the guy's name was Randy Stair, and yeah, he.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of
shot up
something.
a-
Is there something? Some fat kid that's something universe like Danny Universe or Kitty Universe
No.
or something?
Steven Universe.
No.
Steven Universe. That's like a
That's
fat
Steven-
kid, right?
Danny
That's what
Phantom
Zach
was
was
an older
always
one.
playing. Yeah. Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
He was obsessed with a ghost character from the Danny Phantom TV show and believed that when he died, he would reincarnate as as a female ghost or something like that.
Well, that's fucking great. Why do you have to kill somebody to get there? I feel like if you're gonna kill people, you're not gonna get your eternal reward of becoming a Danny Phantom ghost. Like,
I don't know why he felt the need to kill other people. Just something about him being kind of off in general. I mean, there was something that at one point he apparently suffered a head injury, and when that happened, like his
always do.
personality changed.
Are
And
there any cults?
Oh, go ahead.
Are there any cults in Oklahoma that you know of that have
Well, I'm
that have
sure.
a big word of mouth right now?
Why Oklahoma?
Well, I mean, she's right. She lives in Oklahoma, and she's writing a book about cults.
That's
So
not. I'm not.
Oh,
talking-
okay. I'm sorry.
I
didn't
don't
who you were
know.
talking to.
I don't know of any specifically, but I mean, I'm working on it. So
You're working on starting a cult in Oklahoma?
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Good.
someone the other day was like, "Have you ever thought of starting a cult?" And I was like, "Yes. Here's my 40-page outline."
Well, yeah, it's like Hubbard said, if you want to make real money, start a religion.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's no fucking equity in this fucking writing shit.
Well, yeah, you got to write a religious document of some
And he
sort.
would
Yeah.
write like 600, 1,000-page novels. Jeez.
But,
Some of them are
Right.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've not read any of them.
But to kind of go back to the science fiction novel you were writing about, it's kind of too bad that Anne isn't able to come on because of her usual tech problems. Because she recently released like a relatively long science fiction novel that she's been working on for a while.
What's the
And,
name of it?
It's Electra's Revenge.
Electra's Revenge. It's very interesting.
Wait, say it again.
Electra's Revenge. Electra, like the Greek character.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
Is
Or
it?
like
I'll see it
Daredevil,
under-
Daredevil's girlfriend.
It should be on Amazon, but it may not have cover
Oh,
art.
I might have spelled it wrong.
Seriously, this is she's a talent. All right, it's an intense book.
Anne Sturzinger.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
She's
Yeah.
a co-host on here. She just kind of drops out occasionally because of bad signal where she is.
Yeah, she lives out in the desert, so it's bad signals out there. But the premise also kind of reminds me of Douglas Lane's Bash Bash Revolution, where it sort of almost sets it up like there's a malevolent artificial intelligence taking things over, but it's more neutral and possibly even benevolent. In Bash Bash Revolution, it's more that's more about economics, since Douglas Lane is a Marxist.
I'm just saving it.
You big
Yeah,
on
welcome to our
Marxism?
life.
Are you big on Marxism?
Jesus Christ.
I
So,
actually
you big
checked out-
righty or big lefty? Which one?
Yeah. I actually checked out all 3 volumes of Das Kapital from the library. Just volume 1 alone is almost as thick as my palm.
You gonna read it?
Yeah, obviously.
No, he's just gonna look at it, Gregor.
Can you read it to me?
Yeah, we'll do Ben reads Das Kapital ASMR stream.
That sounds good.
Please. Yeah, that'll put me right to sleep.
You know, you often have a lot of valuable advice about people who get stuck in a rut, when they're writing, or maybe they just can't make their ideas come to life, on the page. Like I don't know, what have you added any new insights to that for people less fortunate, than you, who are not able to realize their imaginations in the same way you are?
He's wanting some advice.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking like I don't know how to answer that question.
What's
Are
your
you
writing
high-
routine like, Autumn?
I take this keyboard and I just
Oh, same.
Is it like daily? Is it in the morning? Is it at
Yeah.
night?
I started I think what seems to work for me is like early in the morning, nobody's like messaging me like asking for things, and then I'll write for like an hour or two, and then I'll do it again at night. And then I found like I kind of had to like stop playing video games because I was like I just want to write more. It's
Same.
and I was playing The Sims and I was like I'm just sitting here like making up stories in my head, like
right.
like well why don't I just start writing them down? So that
Yeah.
seems to work. And I feel like mid-afternoon is just like a dead zone as far as like creativity.
Yeah, I'd totally get that.
Yeah, I've got to write in the morning before anybody else contaminates my brain.
Same.
Like I got to get up early before anybody.
I've never
Yeah.
heard this. Bradbury used to talk about the theater of the mind when he would wake up and have all these voices competing in his head. I know he's speaking metaphorically, most likely, but I've never experienced that kind of elation to write. Like first thing in the morning. I guess I just lack the commitment, and I'm always working on it, but never successfully.
Do you know like
I don't know. We
ever
just
taken
need.
like the ocean model like personality? Do you know where you are on like creativity?
What do you mean?
Like it's like a 0 to 100 scale. Like just it's kind of like an inborn trait.
Wait a minute. Is this like a test you can take or something?
Yeah. So okay, there's the it's like called the ocean model. There's like it's there's like introversion, extroversion, like conscientiousness, openness, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And it's kind of places you on a scale, like because what they found is like throughout life, like those they don't really change a whole lot. They seem that people are just kind of born with these traits. So it's like if you kind of understand like where you are on like openness, as far like open to new experiences, and then like creativity, and there's like conscientiousness, which is like linked to like productivity. I think I found that knowing those, I'll have to find where you could like take the test. I found knowing those you can
right
like.
now. I'm taking it right now.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
Good.
look,
You
Jeremy,
you can understand your process better, like if you know that stuff about yourself.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay.
That's something tangible that could be useful.
Oh, you're gonna take the test live
yes.
now.
But
Great.
Jeremy, I
Whether or not
really,
you're honest.
I still maintain that the solution is you just need someone to go over to your house, put a gun to your back, to the back of your head, and say, "Work, bitch."
Yeah, maybe.
Jeremy told me to stop fantasizing about that on Facebook.
Home invasions, yeah.
Come on, be a real friend.
I don't know how to answer this one. I guess I'm neutral. Someone who was reserved. Am I reserved? Am I reserved? I don't know.
No.
No,
Well, I don't know what you are really.
I don't either.
You
That's
scared
another-
Autumn away.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, I'm just gonna start taking this ocean test right now.
Yeah, let me just completely derail our interview with Autumn.
Oh no! Keep talking.
I gotta keep talking.
This is background.
This
stuff.
reminds me of when you started playing with your little man.
The video game.
Oh, no.
Do you remember? I think it was before Regina's time when he just
Well,
stopped the show and just played with his little man.
It's some kind of video game.
yeah, it was
Video
just-
game called Peasant's Quest, and that's
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's
it
just a
wasn't
little
him
man
beating
walking
off.
around the screen.
It wasn't him beating off. He does that. He does that
Okay.
like throughout the entire show. He's just beating his meat under the desk.
so.
No,
This
thank
is a
you.
definite one here, right?
Huh?
Yeah, that's a one. There's two
Yeah, I
matches,
would
no
say
option
that's
for
a
zero.
Yeah.
All
So
Yeah,
what
we
am I
got
supposed
problems.
to learn? What am I supposed to learn from this, Autumn? Like,
It's going to tell you that
So
you're
weird.
neurotic.
So what you're supposed to learn from that is basically like if you're finding it difficult to like take advice for writing, because like everyone thinks their process is like the best, but it's only like confirmation bias because like everyone whose the process works for them, they'll be like, yes, this works. But if you understand more about your personality and like you could sort of have a schedule like or a process that works better for you.
Okay.
You know, for me, it's always seemed like a strange question to ask about process because it's kind of like you said. I sit down and I type letters one by one on the keyboard, and words appear on the. I mean, it's just like I kind of just have to sit and write whenever I do, and whenever I'm not, just sitting around hoping the sniper kills me through my window.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess for me, it's an interesting question to ask because I'm always curious in who's writing every day, who's trying to write every day, who's like a tortured soul like poor Jeremy who can only like really get focused when he's got perfect circumstances.
Mhm.
It's like who are these, what are the different types, the archetypes of the writer, I guess, and how does it manifest itself? And so I don't know, I'm interested in how we all solve problems as writers because we all, I think, encounter unique problems. And for me, my routine inherently kind of solves a lot of the problems I used to have, and now I have different problems. But it's just like, I don't know, it's just interesting to me to kind of talk to people about how they approach their craft and what
Now,
it
some of these questions, it's asking me more
That's
than
a
once.
one.
Yeah, it's just a certain way they phrase it so you can like I don't know if this is like the official one or
Oh.
but
I can't imagine doing this voluntarily because I've been doing a job search and you have to take this shit for job applications and I hate them.
Oh, you do?
Yes. I
Huh.
fucking despise them. It's like, why do you need to know this shit? Just look at my fucking resume.
I know, and they always try to trick you up. They're like, if you see a customer in a wheelchair, would you A, kick them down the stairs, B, help them and treat them kindly, C, would you use your cell phone while someone else helped them, or D, would you quit on the spot? Like, it's all these ridiculous far-flung stupid shit, but then they'll ask the same thing again in another way to like trip you up and be like, oh,
we're
did
just
we get-"
making sure like you're not a psychopath. But
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Or maybe they're looking for those.
or would you
Yeah.
kick a baby? Like
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. How
mean,
far would you punt a toddler on average? That was not an
I'm pretty
answer.
I'm pretty sure most executive jobs require you answer yes to that question.
Yeah.
Okay, I got my results here.
okay, I need my
I
glasses.
bet you're neurotic and
So low open.
low conscientious, low extroversion. All right, scroll down.
This
Wait a
seems
minute.
right.
She said
Is that all there is to it?
No,
Yeah,
there's
that
more.
sounds
Scroll
right.
down.
Yeah, scroll down. It's ocean, and then we've only got the Oshia.
Oh yeah. Agreeableness, you're low agreeable.
How am I
Low
low
neurotic.
neurotic? Now I'm gonna call bullshit on being low
You're
neurotic.
low on everything.
It's a high neurotic. I'm pretty sure. I don't know about that.
I would
Yeah,
think
You're low
so
on
too.
everything, apparently.
High neuroticism reactive. See,
So apparently
So,
you're just low on everything. You're just a lump.
That's interesting because I don't know. I thought you would be more open.
Hmm. It says
that
high
might make sense.
extroversion. Does say high extroversion.
What?
No, see,
says you are
those
low.
are different
Yeah,
things.
so
If you
you're-
click
yeah.
them, they'll drop down and give you info on the
So
different
like that
levels.
says you're an introvert.
Oh.
So what it's saying in the blue is what matters to you. and then those are just ones you can read about.
I'm gonna have to copy and paste this and check it out later.
How can you be a low on
You
everything?
don't need to. You're just low on everything. You're
Yeah,
just
how can that
a
be?
lump on the
Oh.
chair.
So what am I supposed to do? What do I do now?
Okay, so
It just means that you're
Get to
not going to be
work,
able to write.
motherfucker.
That's all that means.
so the fact that like I'll have to, because I don't know how low openness with the low consciousness would work, but I have a high conscientiousness, so like I'm very like productive, so it makes more sense for me to like have these like schedules. But I think people that are low in consciousness, like they kind of balk at schedules, and then they just kind of like freeze up and they don't want to do it, and they have
Yeah.
to be more like spontaneous. Do you feel like that might be more like you?
Yeah, see what I'm up against?
Um,
Yep. I get in my own way.
Yeah, I think you just have to, but you're also low openness.
Mm.
So it's like,
Yeah, I think you just need to give up.
Or it's almost like personality
Yeah.
tests or crazy fucking horoscopes that just, tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear.
well,
Should we
only
take his e-meter reading next?
no. So this is actually like the only like scientific one of two. There's another one, but this isn't like Myers-Briggs bullshit. This is like scientific like taxonomical classification. And most of these traits are like observable like in even like non-vertebrate animals.
Okay.
Now I'm wanting to take this thing. Send me the link, Jeremy.
Okay. What's your email again?
GregorZane@gmail.com.
You heard it here, folks. Send
That
him
makes
some
sense.
shit.
Yeah, send all hate mail there.
That makes a lot
I
of
mean, you can go.
Can I just send
If you
like
have any
random
complaints on this show,
What? Sorry,
Yeah,
what, Autumn?
you can send random hate there.
Okay,
Yeah.
like it's not even directed at you. I just
No,
I'll
just
send you
that's
pictures of
fine.
goats.
What were you gonna say,
Give
Autumn?
me something to read.
I don't
no, that's just
remember.
the mailbox for complaints for the show.
Yeah, definitely send all your complaints to GregorZane@gmail.com. It's XANE.
So, yeah. So that's a thing.
Thank you, everyone.
Given you're low on everything, I think we can safely rule out that you'll be a mass shooter.
Yeah, that ain't gonna
So-
happen.
He doesn't have a
So
buzz
you-
cut. He's not skinny enough. Yeah.
Go ahead. Let her talk.
Yeah, go ahead, Autumn.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just thinking about Jeremy because it's like, okay, like you're low on openness, so you like to do things. Do you have like routines? You tend to do like the same thing every day?
Yeah.
Okay, but you're not necessarily like super productive.
No, I guess not. I get to things in my own time.
I'm trying to think how that. I don't know. What do you think would be like a good writing routine for Jeremy?
I feel like if Jeremy could make himself get up, the thing is that it's hard to start a first thing in the morning writing routine, but if you can get it started to where you like get up, do a quick workout of just like a 15-minute walk and lifting some weights, eat your breakfast and immediately start writing. And like I get up at 4 a.m. to do my writing routine, by 7.
I used to do that.
So yeah, it's like I think it's really good. And it's, I think, are you working out, Jeremy? Are you exercising?
No, I've got real bad feet, but no, I'm serious.
Just take walks, please.
Pes plenitus for flat feet. Yeah, they've been fucked up for years.
I'm sorry.
But I could probably take walks if I really wanted to. But I get up at 4 a.m. normally, just like you, only it's to go to work. So there's not a lot of time in the mornings to write. The only reason I don't do that right now is because I'm off work due to personal leave for Dad. But yeah, normally I would get up at 4 a.m. to write. So it would probably have to happen around noon when I get home. But I don't know.
Well, yeah.
I would love
that
to
can be
have a
hard.
system. I would love to have a working system so that I could be able to say, I've got something on the way. I'm sending it out to some people, or I'm just going to publish it myself. I would love to be able to say that because I've got a universe in my head. It's so real to me that like I almost don't feel like I don't have time to put it down on paper. It's constantly, it's like a massive
Yeah.
universe in my head. But
Well, let me tell you, Jeremy, one simple thing, one easy trick that I did that really helped me is I started leaving my Word document work in progress open on my laptop before I put it to sleep. And I don't know if you turn your computer off at night or if you just put it to sleep or what you do. But if you are able to just put it to sleep and leave that Word document, whatever you want to work on, right in front of you, then you can guilt yourself because you have to make the conscious choice to click away from the Word document to do literally anything else. So, at the very least, out of a moral sense of obligation, when you come home from your work and turn on your computer, the first thing you see is that Word document. You're gonna probably put down at least a couple of sentences just to keep yourself from feeling completely bad. And then you might stop, and the next day you'll do it again. It's just about prepping yourself. You have to stage yourself.
do you think that it's healthy to have expect to put a word count or like a page count, to impose on yourself?
I think it's good to have a goal. I like to, I really don't like to stop before my daily goal is always 10,000 words. And if I can get more than that, that's great. If I hit less than that, I'm probably not going to be too happy unless I'm starting to fall into like the 6,000 plus word range. But I think, if you just even, 2,000 words a day is more than most people write, shit. And that's 10 days. That's a 20,000 word short story if you just do 2,000 words a day. So that's a great way to start getting your head in the game. Just pick a story from your universe and something that like really is speaking to you right now, something that gives you a real pulse of electrical energy when you think about it. And then just kind of, I don't know, just like when you think about it, like write the first sentence that comes into your head or the first image that comes into your head, and then leave that Word document open for yourself for you to see just as soon as you turn on the PC the next day when you come home from work, and let nature take its course.
When there used to be a writers group locally, that was probably when I was most productive, being able to perform it, some of it every month, with other people who were, reading theirs. That helped a lot, but that group kind of disbanded due to everybody, having real life stuff going on. But I think there is something to being able to perform in public that can help people be productive. Like I said, it's not available right now. Something else, somebody told me that if you have to put the story down, don't finish a sentence, leave a sentence open ended.
That's what I do too, actually. I
Yeah.
stop halfway through the sentence because it's just a good way to kind of see exactly where I stopped, kind of get momentum just by finishing the sentence, and then you can go on. And before you know it, you're right back in the flow.
Okay. Good
And I
deal.
try not to. I try not to stop. Like, I don't overdo it. When I have a pretty confident idea of what's going on next, I also kind of try to stop. So sometimes I will willingly stop at about 4,000 words in a day if I think that I will be better and fresher, and that the next scene is going to be more involved. I think it's just good to make sure you have something to write tomorrow when you're starting to think about stopping today.
Okay. All right. This is all good stuff, and maybe this time I'll actually mean it.
I hope so, Jeremy. I think it's so healthy to write, and it would be really healthy for you to write too. Specifically, I think it would be really good.
But I think where I've set this impossible goal to read every book ever written, and even though I know it's an impossible goal, I still try to read like 50 books at once, literally, and because I feel like that way I have this my finger on the pulse of like storytelling itself, and I drive myself crazy with it, and it's like stories start crossing over in my mind because I see it all as one big sandbox, and this is extremely neurotic. But I feel like I've set an impossible, standard by doing this, but I mean, it is rewarding to me in its own way. Unfortunately, it's like I'm working on everybody else's universes except my own with reading that much.
Well, what's a more possible goal than reading everybody else's shit is writing one book of your own. I think that's a really possible goal, and really, it's just, again, it's like, just start easy on yourself. Just start small. Start with like a short story, or maybe it's easier for you to write a novel. I think I have an easier time with novels than with short stories. So just go for, just do it. Just go for it. And if the story wants to be longer, let it be longer. If you think you just can't figure it out, find a way to end it early. Just get some down, man. Like just a little bit every day. 1,000 words, 2,000 words.
I didn't mean to turn this into self-help hour, because the focus is Autumn, who we're lucky you came in at all, because you don't typically do these kinds of appearances anymore. So and we're all very grateful, and we were excited, and when you said you weren't sure about it earlier, I was willing to accept it, but I was a little disappointed. And then when you decided to do it anyway, I mean, it's like I really appreciate that, and believe me, no matter what anybody says, I have the best intentions now. I said a lot of. Well, yes, I'm serious. I said a lot of inflammatory things back in the day because they were specifically inflammatory, and I knew they would get under people's skin because they were getting under my skin. But the people who deserved an apology have received their apology, and so yeah, that's what it is. But
Yeah.
do you feel better? Do you feel better now that you don't regret coming on now, do you?
No. Well, and
Not yet.
Listen, anybody has a problem with her being on my show, talk to me, not her.
Yeah, if you have a problem with Autumn Christian being on the show, direct all your complaints to gregorzane@gmail.com.
Exactly.
I mean,
and I'll reply to them all.
They can send it my way, but good luck with that.
Yeah.
No, send them to me. I'll take care of it.
You got enough.
I mean, part of the nice thing about being a writer is, you get to talk shit like people.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But we were all
this ocean test that you sent me here, Jeremy, is total bunk. It's like doesn't
wait a
work.
minute.
Wow. Because I scored the exact same as you, and there's no way I'm not
Really?
low on
I think
everything.
that lady is just making it bullshit to
No,
sell
I
her
can
book.
see.
Yeah.
I can see
Maybe
you being
it's-
low on everything, Gregor,
Maybe it's not
No.
because you don't like shit and you don't go outside.
No,
I don't know if that test is like.
no,
What do
it's
they
total
have?
shit. I mean, there's no way I'm low on everything.
Maybe it's not the same one she's talking about.
Well, I
No.
put the Wikipedia link just about like the science behind it and everything.
Yeah, because I know that.
But I don't know. That might just be
I
a
have
bullshit.
conscientiousness and openness.
The Big
I'm
Five.
pretty sure I've taken this before.
Also, for a job interview, probably. I
Yeah.
recognize that style from
Or to get
applications. The
disability.
theory identifies 5 factors: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. I mean, it seems like it covered all those things that this Wikipedia article's talking
I mean,
about.
it did, but there's no way I scored low on all those dimensions. I mean, just not possible.
Maybe you learned something about yourself today. Huh?
No, I didn't. No, I
That
didn't.
sounds like denial.
It does sound like denial, but sometimes you're you're just denying things, right? You're not in denial. I'm just denying it, right?
I'm just gonna
I'll,
assume without taking it that I'll also be less than low on everything. It'll be like 0 across the board, and I'll wonder how the fuck they did that when there's no 0 options.
I'll
Yeah.
look into it at a later date.
Yeah, I'll look at it another time. But yeah, that particular site was a turd, Jeremy.
Whatever.
You're what
I didn't.
promoting it? What's going on?
Oh, she
I mean-
said, and I looked it up.
She sent you the link.
I am.
Who's she?
I
The cat's
can
mother?
imagine-
I think he's talking about Autumn Christian. He's saying that she is sending bogus
Trying
links.
to blame
I didn't
Autumn
send
for
that link.
you.
She mentioned the ocean model test, and I looked it up.
Yeah, and you just clicked on the first damn thing.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Well, I can imagine someone who's low on everything just being like that. This is bullshit.
yeah. Have we kept you too long? Are you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, Regina, he's talking to her.
I think
No.
we've all been kept on this planet too long.
Yeah, I mean, like, in what sense too long? The
It's
planet's
getting interesting now.
I did have something. I wanted to debut this new thing called Heavy Metal Bedtime Stories. Anybody ever listen to Malevolent Creation?
No.
I have. Is that the heavy
Yeah.
metal like nursery rhymes that they
No.
did?
Oh god.
No.
Shit.
This is like lore about heavy metal musicians that like it surpasses the music.
Are
Like,
you making it up yourself, or are you
No,
getting?
This is legit.
I'd
these-
rather hear you make it up. Really.
These are heavy metal
Me too.
personalities who are like larger than their music. Okay, so nobody's ever heard of Malevolent Creation.
Mm-mm,
No.
No.
They're like a death metal band. Their guitarist Phil Fasciana stopped a robbery, shot the robber dead. I'll let him tell it here.
Is this? Did you
Okay.
pay him to talk about it?
No,
Is that
no.
what it is?
Fasciana claimed that he interrupted a store robbery, which led to him being shot at 4 times before he was able to disarm the homeless crackhead and pump 2 bullets into the thug's head. This is from blabbermouth.net. Fasciana told blabbermouth.net, when I walked into that store to buy something... What's wrong?
Wait.
What?
Did it say that he disarmed him and then shot him twice in the head?
Yes.
Twice
What a
in
hero.
the head
Now,
after
wait a minute.
disarming him?
Let him tell his story.
Okay, go on.
Fasciana told blabbermouth.net, when I walked into that store to buy something... Wait a minute. I need a photograph of Mr. Fasciana to really bring this picture to life here.
Is it like a fake name, like a play on fascism?
Oh, no. That's just the funny part, is that it's a real name.
Okay.
And it does kind of almost, tip that way at times. That's...
And you wanted to bring this up specifically for Autumn's
Oh,
benefit?
I mean, we've gotten about all we can out of her.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've outlived your
The
usefulness,
I'm tied
Autumn.
up.
the autumn cow has been milk dried.
No, come on, I
She
didn't mean
said
that.
everything she had to say.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Wait a minute, you're not mad, are you?
No, she is.
Okay.
Did I look mad?
Yeah, she's very mad. She's very
Everyone's
upset with
always
you.
mad at you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy, Gregor, let me also tell you, by the way, you scared the shit out of Jeremy because he sent me a text going, okay, so Autumn canceled and Ben says he's going to be late and Gregor said to fuck off in a text message. Did somebody
did.
say something? And I was like, okay, first of all, Gregor is clearly just giving you shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it
you
was
know him.
4 minutes after, right? Like, I'm not getting paid. This isn't like my day job or something, right? So
I have
it was-
paid you before. I have paid you before.
I know, and that's a pathetic thing to do. So
No, it's taking care of people who help me do this.
That's
I
right.
mean,
I still
That's
think
it's
it's
a nice
pathetic. So
gesture.
Yeah,
it's four after 7. He
That's-
says, "Hey, you coming?" And I say, "Fuck off." And then he says, "Wait, what? What's going on? Please call me if you're mad. Explain what's wrong.
I didn't say it like that.
No.
I
mean,
didn't
that's really what he wrote.
I did not say it like that.
Poor Jeremy.
That was
There's
the
There's no
tone.
way you're low
That's
on your
true.
own.
I mean, that's what he wrote. And then I didn't even tell you what he wrote into Goodreads. He went like, I wasn't answering his text, so he went on Goodreads and started saying panic stuff to me there, too.
Buddy.
Play the voicemail. I did not sound that pathetic.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard. I actually, Jeremy, I haven't even bothered to
There
listen.
was a voicemail.
All right, cool. I challenge you to play that voicemail and see how non-pathetic I sound.
Okay, I'm going to
We're
do
not
it.
gonna-
But Jeremy, I don't
we're
think you're
not
going to like it. Oh, no.
Jeremy's over here like, I have not been owned. I am not owned.
I finally understand why it's cringe lord level 99. I'm just like,
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
That's like
Yeah, I think we can bump you up to level 100.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Jeremy, man. Hoping your company's going to show up tonight soon. I could use the company, man, but all right. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Oh, he sounds so sad.
You could use the company. Did you hear that? Is this weird?
He sounds so sad.
hospital.
And then here's another one. He sent 2 now. So that's, you asked for it, Jeremy. Here's the other one.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, I hope, because I have not done anything malicious.
Hold on. Let me play this again.
Hey, Gregor, man. I hope you were joking, man, because I have not done anything malicious. If this is about Zach, man, I mean, that's between me and him, man. I'm dealing with my dad too. So if that's what this is about, man, please understand. I hope you're not really mad at me for something because I haven't done anything. Please call me back, man, or message me. Explain to me if that was a joke. I really hope it was. But, all right, later, man.
Jeremy, buddy, we love you.
So-
Look
I
what you
hadn't
did. You
heard
killed
that.
Adam.
Yeah, so
I hadn't heard that until just now. And I
that's
told
like
you.
so sad.
I know.
Oh,
And
Jeremy-
I told you didn't want me to play that.
I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh, I knew for a fact it was that bad, and I didn't even have to hear it, right? So, you asked for it. I'm sorry that I had to play that, but at least it was entertaining to people. I'm sure.
Okay, the first one wasn't that bad though.
The second one was
Jeremy-
pretty bad, but the first one's bad. Yeah,
No, the first one was not bad.
I could use some company.
Well, I
Jeremy, you
could.
need to.
I could have.
Jeremy, you need to. Jeremy,
It was like
you need to
getting a
start.
call from a kick puppy. It was like,
Yeah, I know.
Jeremy, you need to start thinking of it in the way I think of it, which is that all of your feelings are garbage, and much like a dump, they need to be squished down and drowned in alcohol.
No, here's the thing. I've got
I
that.
don't
I
think
think
that's ever.
I lost the metaphor somewhere.
I used to think that way, and then this show started like, I don't know, blooming into something better. And now it's like, oh God, I've invested my feelings, and oh God, I promised myself I never would. Now, oh God,
Well, I mean, burying your feelings works out great for everyone. I've heard it does it. So, it never goes wrong. I don't.
mhm.
No,
Yeah,
it
this
never
is
goes
good.
wrong. This is life advice with the Quiet Place. Squish your garbage feelings down like it's at the fucking dump.
now wait a minute. Though. You want to hear the malevolent creation guitarist's hero story though?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I mean, it didn't sound very heroic, but let's hear it.
Yeah.
When I walked into that store to buy something, I had no idea the store was in the middle of being robbed. Wait a minute, I was looking for his picture, wasn't I? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
were
he
there,
looks
yeah.
like Mr. Tough Guy in his picture.
Hang on.
I don't know why some people feel the need to make up stories like that. Just, whip your dick out and say, look how fucking huge I am.
Wait a minute, who said he made it up?
It sounds like bullshit.
Ben did.
I can, just the, beginning of it, it smells like bullshit.
Hmm.
It does.
Hmm.
It doesn't sound genuine at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah,
Like, all these homeless fucking crackheads. I went in the fucking store. I took the crackhead's gun and blew his brains out.
Wait, did you read it?
No, you just
No,
read
you
the
just
letter.
read it for us.
Being
No.
facetious.
Wait a minute, as soon as I find this,
What is going on, Jeremy?
How hard is it to find a picture of this guy?
Yeah.
I
Go to
know.
Google Images.
No, he's a hero.
What?
He sounds like he's making shit up.
Yeah.
Because that's his fucked up idea of what a hero is.
There we go.
Yeah. Disarms somebody and then shoots him in the head.
You watch
Yeah.
too much John Wick,
And
I
just
think. If you're
And just make sure to emphasize they're a homeless crackhead.
There we go.
yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That
He definitely looks like the kind of guy who makes up this kind of story.
that paints the whole picture. Okay,
Yes.
I immediately felt something was wrong when I walked in because it was very quiet and the man working behind the counter was staring at me like I was going to rob the store. When that 80-pound homeless crackhead yelled at me and pointed his gun at me and fired 4 shots at me, I thought I was surely dead and had no time to react. After realizing I was not hit, I slowly crawled around to the back of the store, and while the gunman was screaming at the worker, I ran down the aisle he was in and tackled him with the intention of beating the living shit out of him. When I tackled him and started beating the shit out of him with the dude working there, he dropped the gun and I grabbed it. I had no intention of shooting him until he reached for another gun in his sneaker. And how do you keep a gun in your sneaker?
Absolute
Yeah,
nonsense.
this homeless crackhead had 2 different guns.
One of them
Yeah,
is
this is
how do you keep a gun in your sneaker?
Yeah,
I
what
can
kind
write
of
a
was it,
better
Derringer
story
or
than this in
something?
my fucking sleep. Come
And
on,
before
man.
he got the chance to shoot me again, that's when I shot him in the face 2 times.
Wait, he said he didn't get shot?
And before he got the chance to shoot at me again,
Oh, okay.
that's
okay.
when I shot him in the face 2 times and put it into that whole nightmare. By no means am I a hero. I could have easily just ran out of the store like a pussy after realizing I was not shot and left the store worker to most likely get killed. But I was so pissed I just wanted to beat the fuck out of that loser who just tried to end my life over nothing. Anyone in my situation may have done the same thing, but nobody knows when something like that can happen. I have a lot of
socially
personal
irresponsible thing to say.
I have a lot of
This is-
personal
Go ahead.
I have a lot of personal family problems that are far worse than what I just went through, and asked the police if it was possible to keep this story from getting in the press and having
Of
my
course.
dying father and grandfather have to know about something like that happening to me. This while he emails this story to Blabbermouth.
Yeah, I
This
know.
has
This is
been-
why it's completely fake.
This has been shit that did not happen theater with Jeremy Maddox.
Yeah, no
Okay,
shit.
That's the point.
So I'm curious about the line where he's saying that this altercation isn't anything even close to his family situation he's got going on. So what's this family situation he's got going on that's worse than getting in?
And yeah, it's like if he's such a fucking hero, why doesn't he want his whole family to know about it? Isn't he proud of it?
How do you ask the police to keep a murder in self-defense out of the media? Like, hey guys, I just killed this guy in self-defense.
You show him your white mail card and you just go, hey guys, you want to wrap
Anything
this up
is-
for me?
yeah.
You asked about the family situation. He says, having my dying father and grandfather have to know about something like that happening to me.
No, but he said something
journalist
about before that it wasn't anything compared to what was going on in his family life, right?
Right. Well, he doesn't go into any more detail.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Like, shoot
It's
somebody
just
twice
him
in the
trying to
face
make
is
himself
nothing
look
compared
good.
to what's going on in his family life?
It's him trying to make himself look good.
His father's
But
died.
It makes it sound worse because, like, yeah, I killed a man, but it's not as bad as my father dying.
So,
I don't get it, man.
wait a minute.
This
it
is
gets
terrible.
better.
Where'd you find this trash?
Wait a minute. Blabbermouth.net. But wait, there's more. I'm
Does
not
the
denying
journalist-
that this is. I'm not denying that this is bullshit. That's what makes it so great.
Does the
Comment-
journalist at least calling out that it's bullshit?
No, it's better than a journalist. Hang on. Commenting on Fasciana's claims, Detective Mark Shotwell of the Fort Lauderdale Police Department told Rock Radio that he's unable to find evidence that any such event ever took place. This did not happen,
What a
Shotwell said.
surprise.
Our last murder was on June 22nd, and Fasciana was not involved. I'm certain of this. Even if the death was a result of self-defense, it would still be classed as a homicide and investigated as such. All witnesses, reportees, victims, and suspects are entered into a database, but the most recent entry for Fasciana is on April 1st involving him and a female in a domestic dispute.
So he twisted. I beat a woman into. I shot a homeless crackhead. What the fuck has to happen to your brain that you think this story makes you look good? How many drugs has this guy done?
So then Rock Radio took this back to Fasciana and relayed the comments from the detective, about him saying this didn't happen. And the guitarist's reply was, "The store where it took place isn't considered Fort Lauderdale. What happened is true. And I really don't know how it leaked into Blabbermouth because I never told anyone about it." Even though Blabbermouth says he emailed it to them, and they have two separate stories that are completely different of what went down. Shotwell explained there are about 15 suburbs near Fort Lauderdale, but Shotwell replied again when Fasciana doubled down. He says there are about 15 suburbs near Fort Lauderdale. This is the detective now. But all murders use the Broward County Medical Examiner's Office for autopsies, mandatory in a homicide. There have been no murders in the entire county during July. Homeless crackheads would trade a gun as soon as they got it, and I've never seen one with two guns. And the scenario...
crackheads, they keep one gun in their pants next to their shriveled penises and another in their sneakers. Well, how do you not know this?
How do you hide a gun?
Common knowledge.
I really don't.
Maybe in a boot, but a fucking sneaker. I don't know, but like I said, a Derringer or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And the scenario as described would have made headlines even in Miami. Yeah.
This would be in Miami it would be like fourth page news, but it would have made the news.
Fasciana's final word on the matter was this: "This is the second time I was involved in the death of a homeless man. Me and a friend were driving completely sober about 6 years ago, and a homeless drunk dude ran into the street. We ran him over and killed him with several witnesses. I'm flipped out over this and many near-death experiences I've had living in this shithole Fort Lauderdale."
Why would you make this stuff up?
He admitted to another murder, according to him.
Well...
how did you happen upon this? Why? Why do you have this?
Why do I have this? Because it's metal and it's completely absurd and it's great.
Well, yeah, I can imagine like some metalhead full of him, or some metal band guy full of himself coming up with this because he thinks some local
the way he did it.
Thinks it's the coolest shit ever.
From drugs.
It's the way he did it though. He's like, yeah, I killed someone in self-defense, in a gas station. He was going to rob the joint. And I asked the cops to keep it out of the press, because I've had a rough time lately. And they did. And then the detective comes forward and he says, actually, the only time that we've interacted with Phil Fasciana is to break up him and his girl in a domestic dispute. And then he doubles down further and says, "Look, this is the second homeless dude I've killed. You got to believe me."
Well, because the thing is, like, I've actually met Fasciana. You see, it was in a grocery store, and I went up to him and said how cool it was to see him, but I didn't want to be, a bother by asking for pictures or anything. And he said, like, "Oh, like you're doing now?" And I said, "Huh?" And he just started repeating, "Huh, huh, huh," and opening and closing.
Wait. Are you bullshitting me? Are you bullshitting me?
Instantly recognize that copy pasta, which is so sad.
This is 100% true, I swear.
It's amazing. It's amazing how I can recognize it even out loud. Like,
okay, so it was bullshit. All right, well, that was...
Yes.
All right, that was the first...
No, it was 100% true.
That was the first episode of Heavy Metal Bedtime Stories. Thank you. What do you see next week? What do you see next week with the Catwoman of a death metal band? Seriously.
I know.
Is that one of a death metal band?
I'm not going to say until next week.
Okay,
I know. Is that one of the cool... Is that one of the actually cool ones that involves like trashing hotels and throwing TVs out and shit and banging the groupies in huge fucking orgies?
No,
Just Josie and the Pussycats.
but it does involve police again. So
Of course.
is all this
Is it about the 3 Dog Night guy who ruined his penis?
and ruined his son. Oh, geez. No, but there's this whole world of like underground lore with these obscure metal bands that is never touched upon. Everybody's heard about the guy from Mayhem who, like, after his drummer or whatever shot himself in the head, he cooked the brain matter allegedly, or
Dead.
He did what with the brain matter?
Mayhem is the name of the band.
Yeah, but what did he do with the brain matter?
Cooked it allegedly. I don't know.
Yeah.
That the
He
Mayhem
apparently.
I actually think Mayhem are kind of posers, but that's
I
a
mean,
good.
Dead wasn't a poser. That's why he blew his brains out.
I mean, do you think that's a good thing that he did that, though? I mean, does that make someone more authentic that they did?
I mean, that's the thing with like calling people posers. The people who aren't posers end up blowing their brains out, and the people who are posers. A good example is Nirvana.
Anyway.
Kurt Cobain believed all the nihilism, and that's why he's fucking dead. Courtney Love didn't believe it. That's why she's still alive.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a difference too between
It's a
really
great
strongly
metric,
believing
man.
something and then growing out of your belief in something. Or like, like, I don't know, when I think of somebody who, like, fucking Gigi Allen, I hate Gigi Allen's guts. And he's always like, yeah, man, I'm going to blow my brains out on stage. And then he ends up dying in a heroin overdose like an asshole, like everybody else.
See, most people think Keith Allen is like this, like, amazing dude. I thought he was disgusting. Yeah.
I know, he's fucking shit in his hand on stage, It's
I
just
mean, who
like,
thought he was an
fucking-
amazing dude?
What?
Gigi
A lot of-
Allen.
A lot of people.
I think there
I mean-
are a lot of people out there, especially in the horror community right now, who idealize Gigi Allen, and I'm here to say he's disgusting.
Dude.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think anyone would deny that, but I don't think also anyone would deny he actually believed what he was saying,
didn't
and that's why why he was throwing shit, and it's also why he's fucking dead.
didn't Emma Johnson do an anthology about Gigi Allen? And that's not an insult. I'm just saying that. So
I don't know if it was.
There was
who
a
edited
Gigi
it,
Allen
but-
anthology recently, or relatively recently.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not an insult. I'm just saying that
and
there were enough people that submitted that it became an anthology. So a lot of people still think he's awesome for, like, I don't know, living life on his own, by his own rules or whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, but wasn't he like
Lex is-
essentially like manipulated by his older brother, who was like a psychopath? That it was just
Really,
kinda
I
like,
didn't know that.
yeah, that's my
I don't
understanding of it.
recall that, but I
Yeah,
know
that was my impression of it, based on what I've seen and read or whatever. That the older brother was kind of like puppet master and kind of basically getting his younger brother to do all kinds of shit for his own amusement, kind of thing. And he was kind of like a psychopath.
Well, obviously,
Wow, I didn't
Gigi
know
Allen
that.
came from a
Yeah.
abusive background. I mean,
Yeah.
of course he did.
Yeah, boy, I was listening to something the other day actually about his background because I wasn't like aware of the time spent in like the cabin with no electricity and all this shit, living like an animal in the woods. Basically, it definitely explains a lot about his personality later on in life, for sure.
I think people should idolize Gigi Allen less and make more noise for Wesley Willis, who I thought was way more awesome of an individual.
Cut the mullet.
That guy was legitimately haunted, tortured by his own, mental illness. But
He's like the recording artist guy, right?
I whooped Batman's ass,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and
Birdman kicked my
rock and roll
ass, rock and roll
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Rock
Rock
and roll
over London,
baby.
rock over Chicago. Wheaties, it's America's favorite breakfast.
yeah, the songs are not like these masterpieces, of auditory enlightenment, but he still was working through something, in an admirable way. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Idealized.
Say rock. Say roll. Say rock.
He always
Say roll.
He would do that, and he
My
would
head against my
bump heads-
microphone.
He would bump heads with people, and until it like he had an indentation in his forehead from
Yeah,
all the- he bumped heads
a
with
friend
people.
of A friend of mine actually saw him live and got to see him afterwards, and he did that to her. Apparently, he was wearing these shorts that didn't fit him right, and his balls were hanging out.
So you say that you should idolize him more?
Yes. Well, yes.
Jeremy?
Wesley Willis.
He was more
He was-
innocent than Gigi Allen.
Wesley Willis was
agree.
too pure for this sinful world.
It's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah. Do you have some of those shorts, Jeremy?
I don't know why you probe these questions into me sometimes. Weird stuff. You want to get stuff in my head.
We need to know what's going on with your junk, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Autumn,
Speak
I'm
for
sure
yourself.
you have
Speak for yourself. I don't know.
Don't embarrass her.
Well, I mean,
You're already on here. She's already been embarrassed.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
too
and,
late.
and you
Much
also
too
also
late.
took like an edited piece of what was it last week's video where you're showing off your belly vulva. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, your
Well, yeah,
your
that
mouth
was
hole,
suffering.
vagina, mouth.
Suffering for my heart. I mean,
I just assumed that clip was how he convinced Autumn to come on the show tonight. He was just
No.
like, "Hey."
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like the mouth, stomach, vagina, belly, whole mouth started talking, and that's why Autumn was convinced to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably who called her.
Yeah. Hello, Autumn.
it
Yes,
looked
this
like
is Jeremy's agent.
last
Jeremy too.
Jeremy
week.
too.
Last week it looked like Audrey too, and now it's quietly fading away. Thankfully, so.
Good, good.
Oh, Anne's here.
Hey,
Hey,
Ann.
Ann.
Man.
Hey, I had some technical difficulties and then fell asleep.
I meant to ask, how is Oedipus?
She's stable. You know, I was taking
feeling that I kind
I
of
was taking those. Sorry, I was taking those photos of her the other day just because I want to make sure I have enough photos of her.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, for those who don't remember, Oedipus is her cat that's in bad health, I guess.
And I don't mean to be rude when I ask this, but is it Oedipus? Is it Oedipus? I mean, is it? I mean, I'm curious. I didn't know.
I actually named her after the Sophocles character because
Okay, I didn't know if you were trying to. I didn't know if you were just saying it
There's
really
a pun in
fast and it was
there.
really Oedipus, but it's really it is just Oedipus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize she was a girl when I gave her that name, and I was actually officially studying Sophocles for the first time. And you know how her little front paws are white,
Yeah.
so it looks like she could have had her feet bound together and been abandoned on a hilltop. All that stuff that she has in common with the Sophocles character, besides being, alive I found her in 2005. Besides not being in ancient Greece, not being a person, and not being male, she's got lots in common.
Did she at least bang
I
her
can
mother?
name at least one thing. Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably one thing else that she doesn't have in common with Oedipus.
You should have.
Yeah, if she had that in common with Oedipus, I'd be in prison.
You probably should have just started calling her Oedipus Moss.
Yeah, there you go. I fucking love Crying of Lot 49. Who here / Thomas Pynchon / I know you fucking love Crying of Lot 49, Autumn.
I've never read it actually.
What? No!
Have you read
gotta
any?
read it, dude.
Have you read any of Pynchon's work?
No.
I've read. I've read.
Check out
feel-
Vine.
I feel like
Either
if people
Vineland
hype
or
something
the-
up too much, I don't want to read it.
No,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna hype it up too much, but I will say of Thomas Pynchon's work, Crying of Lot 49 is the shortest, it's the most coherent, it's very rewarding to read it twice, and it's just a really good book. So would recommend.
Yeah. Either that or Vineland. Those are the ones I would recommend.
I have
What's the
read.
other one?
Vineland.
Okay.
Vineland.
I've read some of V, and it's a lot more readable than David Foster Wallace. I've never finished a book by either one of them as of yet. But
Okay, Jason
I would-
Mars.
do you like David Foster Wallace, Regina?
You know what? I think I've read maybe one of his essays in that lobster book, but I don't think I have read any of his like actual long fiction. Like, is Infinite Jest his only novel, or did
No,
he write others?
Well,
The Broom of
he
the
has,
Sea. The guy, the
Yeah.
main character. Well, I don't want to spoil it. I have read this much, and this was good. I don't know. Should I spoil it?
well, he had The Broom in the System, Short Interviews with Horrible Men. What was it? Consider the Lobster, a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. And I don't know if it counts, but This Is Water was published as a single book.
Nice.
Have
I've
you read
only
them all,
read This Is
Ben?
Water. No, I've only read This Is Water.
Oh, okay.
I got that as a
In Broom of the
graduation
System-
gift.
In Broom of the System, the main character realizes he's in a novel. There.
That sounds
That's
like
fun.
it sounds stupid.
I like that kind of chick, so
Really?
I'll fight
I
you,
hate that.
Gregor.
I don't mind
Stuff.
that.
It's actually
I don't
really.
mind that depending on how it's done.
I like it.
I don't like anything that's meta.
I
Okay.
love meta shit.
Anytime you're self-aware, you're meta, aren't you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to not do something that's at least semi-meta, given the hyper-real world that we live in.
Huh?
We live in.
We're living in a postmodern reality, Gregor.
That's true. Yeah, I mean,
I don't like stuff that's meta. I just don't. I hate that. What's that son of a bitch's name? That what's that guy's name? That dude that's the comic book guy that talks to the camera.
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
I hate that. That's just.
I
most-
love Deadpool. Deadpool is the
Oh, I
only
can't
fucking
stand that.
redeeming
It's-
part of the
it's
Marvel
like-
universe for me.
It gets under my skin so much.
The Deadpool
Can't
movie
dig
was
it.
just okay, but I mean,
The opening credits
Italian-
of the first movie was really good, but
Did
then
you
after
hate
that, it
Looney
was terrible.
Tunes? Did you hate Looney Tunes when you were
I'm not
a
a
kid?
big Looney Tunes person. I don't like that.
Mm.
Well,
guess
you're
you
just
more-
wrong
But
But,
sometimes breaking the fourth wall's all right. Only when Groucho Marx does it, I like that.
But I mean, Italia Camino's "If on a Winter's Night a Traveler" is good. It's written in second person. And it's about you, the reader, trying to finding that the book you have is incomplete and trying to find the rest of it.
That's fun.
Yeah,
I guess it could be okay.
I mean,
I've
Italia
got that
Camino-
book. I might give it a whirl, but
My second
I mean, you
published
definitely-
novel was pretty meta.
I mean, you definitely have to check out Invisible Cities. That book is amazing.
yeah, I've got that one too. I have not read it yet. Which one of yours is? What did you say your second book? What was that, Regina?
That was the lightning stenography device under the M.F. Sullivan pen name, and that was the one that was about a thought to text device has come out in like I don't know. I like grossly misestimated. It was like 2024, and the thought to text device when the writers wear it on their head and they you're just sitting there and the text is flowing out of your brain and onto the screen, so they'll fall asleep at their keyboard. And then they wake up the next morning to like a prophetic novel that's been written in their sleep, and that's the novel the reader is reading. And then like various other like conditions while you're wearing the thought to text device can trigger like the sudden output of like a large amount of information in the form of a prose fiction story from like the right brain. So it's like it's very much like the in-universe novel is being created as the reader reads it, but before, and it's
I mean, that doesn't sound bad. And actually, I
So,
meant to buy
wait,
that
so
one,
what
and
is
I
this
bought
called?
something else on accident.
it's the lightning stenography device.
That was Regina wrote it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
but it's under what was Sullivan? What was it? What's the?
yeah, it's the
pseudonym?
MF Sullivan pen
M.F.
name.
Sullivan.
it
is the
stands for
author.
motherfucker soul.
That's
Yeah.
right. 'Cause I'm a
Yeah.
So it's
bad
not under your
motherfucker.
name?
Yeah, that's my first name.
Yeah, so
Mm.
that doesn't sound like meta in the way that annoys me, right? You know what I mean? And then that doesn't sound like the author's telling you about how they're gonna create the characters and put them in a particular dollhouse or
Well,
whatever
I
bullshit like that.
fucking wouldn't sit there for that. Jesus.
No, I mean,
Yeah, but
I read one of J.G. Ballard's short stories called Now Zero, which is about a put-upon office worker who discovers that when he writes down people's names and descriptions of how they'll die, that it comes true.
Did
And,
J.G. Ballard write Death Note?
I was
Actually, apparently, yeah, this was originally published back in like 1959, but apparently it was the inspiration for Death Note.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So how's that meta?
Well, it's meta in the sense that he starts like testing out the power. Like he says that everybody in this city will die at this time, and it doesn't happen. And it turns out that it can only it can only happen with plausible scenarios. So he at the end of the story, you find that he has written the story specifically to kill the reader at the end.
Oh,
Shit. Oh no, I wouldn't be able. I hate that. That reminds me, that gave me a chill. That reminds me of when I was a kid and I read a story in that Hitchcock collection where it's like, it starts out and it's like, don't look behind you. You know, as you're reading the story, I'm coming for you. It's like all this shit that like immediately freaked me the fuck out. Like that to me, that's honestly, it's like, also when I was a kid in middle school, like the scariest movie that I had ever seen was The Ring when it came out in theaters. That was like my first horror movie. So like I guess I'm really affected by meta stuff, both in terms of just general fiction, but especially in terms of horror. And just the description of that fucking J.G. Ballard story is terrifying. And I wanted to read it until you told me the twist, and now I don't want to read it because it sounds like bad juju.
I still think it's worth reading.
It sounds worth reading, but I'm scared to.
But another one of the stories that I read in there was The Sound Sweep, and you'll never guess what that was the inspiration for.
The Sound Sweep. Give me a little description of it, a little taste of it, and I'll guess what it is.
The infamous trivia question: what was the first video that aired on MTV?
Video Kill the Radio Star.
Yep, it was the inspiration for that song.
Wow, weird.
Because it takes place in a not really dystopian future, but a future where all music has disappeared because people listen to ultrasonic music, which is not audible but can be felt. And it's about a guy whose job is to sweep up stray sounds, needing an opera singer who's become destitute because of the change in technology.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And are you frozen? And you're frozen. Okay.
Frozen solid.
Frozen.
J.G. Ballard was really fucking something else.
I actually got some
thing is, like,
earlier this week. Yeah, I want to check him out. Cocaine Nights.
Yeah, Cocaine Nights is a good story. I actually think that its sister novel, Super Canes, is better.
I got a bunch of his stuff early. Unlimited Dream Company.
I haven't read that yet.
I heard that one's pretty crazy.
And I just want to let Jason Knox know that I think that actually meta porn would be probably the best, maybe media outlet for meta type fiction. I think that would be all right.
Like, what would meta porn be? Just how would obviously like gonzo porn is that there is no fourth wall, and there's stuff like porn that's set up as if it's like talking
POV.
to the
like virtual reality type porn.
Yeah.
But I don't know what meta porn would be like. I don't know.
Is meta porn just videos of people watching pornography?
Yeah.
Or is it like?
Oh, it would be like a porn that shows women masturbating to porn.
No,
yeah.
On that note, I think I'm gonna head out.
Well, we finally scared you off, but thanks a lot for coming, Autumn. It was great to have you.
Wait a minute, Autumn. Thanks so much for coming. Was that as bad as you and other people thought it was going to be? I mean,
it was much worse.
Good.
It was much worse than I ever imagined. No,
That's good.
You only scared me a little bit.
How did I scare you?
I'm fucking with you.
I probably scared her more.
Thanks a lot.
Regina probably scared her more.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for any, resulting drama. Like I said, anybody's got a problem with her appearance, talk to me. So
Yeah.
If anyone has a problem, send the complaints to briggerzane@gmail.com.
Yeah, please do.
thank you very
All
much.
right.
It's been an honor. It
Thank
was
you
good
for
to catch
coming
up
on,
with you
Autumn.
again.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
glad I
have a
got
good
to meet you
evening.
all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good
All right,
night.
peace out.
But
Yeah, apparently like Ballard was like a big influence on the Buggles. Like